Good afternoon to one and all present here. It's an immense pleasure to welcome you all to this enlightening session of SBMC MUN, a part of Yukthi 2020, conducted by Sree Balaji Medical College and Hospital, Chennai. I extend a warm welcome to our chief patrons, Dr. W.M.S. Johnson, the Dean, Dr. Sridhara Narayanan, the Medical Superintendent, Dr. Dinesh, the Organizing Secretary. I thank you all for this wonderful opportunity to be a part of SBMC MUN Yukthi 2020. Seeing all of you here is a timely reminder that our SBMC MUN exists to serve the succeeding generations. I'm heartened to see such an enthusiastic group of delegates engaged in global issues. Together, you represent the United Nations, as it should be, people from all countries coming together to find solutions to problems through constructive debate and exchange of ideas. Open-mindedness is the essence of successful diplomacy. Let me commend you on the most rapid ascent possible in the diplomatic services. You entered this hall as delegates and you will leave as ambassadors. Dear young leaders, I wish you all a most stimulating conference. And now it's time to meet the Secretariat of SBMC MUN. This year, the Secretariat has worked towards creating the best online MUN experience. We have landed on one of the finest platforms for debate and lobbying. And now I would request Ms. Pooja Premshankar, the Secretary General of SBMC MUN, to give the presidential address.
Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. I have the distinct honor and privilege of welcoming you all to the SBMC Model United Nations. Despite the global pandemic that the world must currently grapple with, I'm both pleased and impressed to see so many bright people actively engaging and finding ways to develop themselves and the world. Our mission here at SBMC MUN is to train today's students to become tomorrow's leaders. We're focused on giving you the right platform to improvise your diplomacy and debating skills. Sometimes, something which I constantly keep emphasizing on is, as millennial youths, we are faced with many challenges ahead of us. At the same time, we also have many opportunities in our hand. For being young is an enormous power itself, and communication is a tool you can use to enforce that power. Delegates who've been a part of MUN conferences earlier, I hope you will use this opportunity to test your skills and improve them further. If this is your first time, then you are going to be a part of a concept that will create change in you. There are many Model UN participants who've become leaders of diplomacy and politics, so it won't be a surprise if your active fellow delegate turns out to be an Indian idol or a very powerful leader. On behalf of the Secretariat, I convey my best wishes to all the delegates who've enrolled to take part. We firmly hold that the SBMC MUN will prove to be an experience that will truly facilitate change. I'm eagerly looking forward to witness your arguments, discussions, and your capacity to resolve the global crisis. Thank you so much. I'm done. So, Abhirami.
Thank you. Thank you for your insightful words, Ms. Pooja. And now, Ms. Archana, the Director General of SBMC MUN, will introduce the Executive Board of WHO Committee and will move on with the conference.
Thank you, Abhirami. So now, introducing our Executive Board. So let me introduce our Vice Chairperson, R.N.ELAMARAN. R.N.ELAMARAN has multiple MUN experience in the past and established a milestone for the conference. He has always been a very active member in the Kanyakumari MUN circuit. Having attended 10 conferences, he has plethora of experience. He has chaired for IIMUN Chidambaram, for the committee UNSC and Continuous Crisis, and has also been the Vice Chair for IIMUN Vellore. We welcome you, R.N.ELAMARAN. And now, moving on to our chairperson. Abhilash is currently pursuing his bachelor's in physics. Being an artist and a dancer from a young age, he diligently balances his interest in science and arts. He has chaired for IIMUN Nagarkoil, Vellore, Trichy, Mangalore in the year 2018, Kochi, Madurai, Chennai, Coimbatore, Trichy, Kanyakumari in the year 2019. He has also been the chair for Digital Conference in the year 2020. He has participated in IIMUN USA 2017. He has organized IIM Kanyakumari in the year 2017 as well as 2019. His distinctive conjecture of an MUN is based on fierce and compelling preparation, diplomacy, and logic, which he expects from all the delegates. He believes that a person's eloquence and oratory powers can take him or her a long way in life. This thought has kept him engrossed in MUN and has been a driving force behind his success as a fine delegate and helped him carve out as a niche for himself in the MUN circuit. So delegates, as amicable, jolly, insane, approachable, and friendly he may be in person, once the committee starts, you ought to make sense or he would sing you a horrendous song of destruction. Welcome, Abhilash. So now, on to our executive board.
So hi, thank you, Archana, for this wonderful introduction, and that was too long. And so delegate, okay, so can I start with the committee?
Yeah, you can start the committee.
Okay, so delegates, I request everyone to please turn on your cameras. Okay, and I guess everyone have renamed yourself with your portfolios. Cool. In case if anyone hasn't renamed, make sure you rename yourself as the country you represent today. Okay. Okay. So basically, let's start. Okay. As the introduction is given about me, it is not necessary that I should give it once more. So once again, my name is Abhilash and I'm the chairperson of the WHO. And about the vice chairperson, he'll be joining us in like 5 or 10 minutes. So we only have 2 hours. So in the 2 hours, we are like given a task of really 2 days. So it's our committee's target to reach what we expect. Okay. So first of all, I'll give a short idea about the ROP that we are going to follow. So delegates who are first timers are like, do you have delegates who doesn't have experience in MUNs? Can you please raise your virtual hands? Okay, so I can see 2 hands raised. So other than the 2, so all of you are experienced, right? Okay, so just since it is a very short ME1, we'll have some small changes and tweaks in the ROP. So first thing we'll start, I'll tell you about how we'll proceed. Okay, so first basically we'll start with setting an agenda, then we'll have speakers list, then we'll have moderated caucus, unmoderated caucus, and basically what we will do in all the committees, in all the conferences or the ME1s, we used to have something called resolutions. But as we are given only 2 hours today and we don't have the time to do resolution, we'll have something called working papers. Okay, it's actually a draft of a resolution, whereas you don't have any specified format so that you can make it in a simple sentence of your own words. Okay, so now we'll start explaining about each and every aspects. The first thing is speakers list. Okay, so in speakers list, basically what you do, you'll have to express the strands of the country you represent on this particular agenda. Okay, so the agenda is about the reaching of the medical equipments and all. So basically what you will do, you will have to relate your country with the given agenda. Clear? So you clear with what a speakers list is. So basically if I'm representing India, I'll have to relate this agenda. I'll have to tell about how India, what is the role of India in this particular agenda. Okay, so clear about what you have to speak or what a speakers list is. It's actually said as general speakers list, but as I can see, there are like 1, 2, 3, around 12 to 14 delegates. It would be better if all of you give a speech, or at least 7 to 8 delegates give a speech. Okay, so so in speakers list, you'll be given a time frame of 1 minute, and when you have like 10 seconds left in your speech, that is when you exhaust 50 seconds, the vice chairperson will be putting it in the chat box that you have 10 seconds more, so that you can start concluding. So we don't like to interrupt, so that's why we do it in the chat box. So at that time you can start concluding your speech. Okay, that is how we do. That's next thing after the speakers list is there is something called yields. Okay, so I guess people who have gone to MUNs know this. As you finish a speech in a speakers list, you will have something called leads, whereas you will be given 2 options. Yield to actually there are more than 2 options in some MUNs, like yield to chair, yield to questions, yield to comments, etc. But here, what we will do, we'll have yield to questions and yield to comments. That is pure. That is entirely optional. So, for example, if I give a speech in the speakers list, and the chairperson asks me, delegates, would you like to yield your time? In case if I like to yield my time, I would say yes, I would like to yield my time to questions or to comments. That is your choice. In case if you don't want to yield, you'll just say, okay, I don't want to yield my time. Okay, so basically what this yield means is that, so in case if you yield to questions, a delegate from the committee can give a comment on what you spoke. So for example, if you give a speech, another delegate is like, okay, the speech given by this delegate was informative or something like that. Okay, that is common. And question is, if I give a speech and if you have a question on what I spoke, okay, and you can question that. So actually, if I give my speech, I'm having the rights to yield to questions or yield to comments. If I yield to question, any one of you can ask question to me. Okay, so we don't entertain follow-ups here due to lack of time. So we'll entertain only one question, 30 seconds. The question and the answer has to be within a time frame of 30 seconds. In case if the delegate doesn't know the answer, he or she can put it in the chat box later. Okay, that is about yield to question, yield to comment. So clear with what is speakers list, yield to questions and yield to comment. Any doubts? In case if you have any doubts, please raise your virtual hands. Okay, please don't raise your physical hands because it's difficult to recognize. So you can raise your virtual hands. Delegate of Egypt and India, your hand is raised. Okay, so delegate of Egypt, you have any questions, any doubts?
No, sorry, I had raised it for the previous one. Why
Okay.
you asked was the question.
Yeah, okay, it's fine. Okay, so no doubts, right? So we'll monitor. In case if you have no doubts, you can that reaction thing, thumbs up. Okay, cool. Okay, so we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, so basically the next thing after speakers list is something called moderated caucus. Okay, so moderated caucus, what basically this means is that, so basically our agenda is about increasing access to medical products. So this is actually a very vast topic. So basically you can divide this topic into few uh, subheadings. I can't actually say the subheadings of this agenda. That is your choice. So I'll give an example. So for example, if you take reforms in the United Nations as a agenda, so you'll have so many subheadings under that, like why do we need reforms, and about veto power also comes under that. Do we need to make a change in the P5 nations, or what are the reforms we need? These are like you're dividing a very large pizza into pieces. If I say it in a practical life, a large pizza made into pieces so that we can have it. That's all. Yeah, so that's basically how you do moderated caucus. So I mean, you like, are you clear with what a moderated caucus is? Okay, you understood what is the concept of a moderated caucus. You're basically dividing the agenda into few subtopics and you're speaking. Okay, so so to propose a moderated caucus, actually after we'll finish a speakers list, and then I'll be asking delegates, are there any points or motions on the floor? So at that time you can raise. So the delegate of India or the delegate of XYZ would like to raise a moderated caucus on the subtopic or on the topic XYZ for a time period of we have 14 delegates. So we'll have a time period of 10 minutes maximum. Okay, for a time period of 10 minutes with individual speaker time of 1 minute. Okay, so everybody individual's maximum time is like 1 minute. So if in case if you propose a moderated caucus for 10 minutes each, there will be 10 delegates who get chance to speak. And in case if 10 delegates are not willing, like in case if there is shortage, like 5 or 7 delegates are only willing to speak, then by the discretion of the chair, this motion will be reduced to that particular time frame. Okay, so that is how we propose a moderated caucus. After you propose a moderated caucus, the motion will be put to vote in the committee. Okay, so as soon as you propose, then the chairperson will be asking delegates in favor of this moderated caucus, please raise your virtual hands. And then we need, if the motion passes with a simple majority. So simple majority, okay, I'll just make a count of it. Basically, simple majority is like 50% plus one. In case there are 14 delegates, the simple majority is 8. Okay, so in case if eight delegates are voting for that moderated caucus, then the moderated caucus will be put on the floor, and then we'll be discussing it in the committee. Okay, and in case if I propose, and one more privilege you have in a moderated caucus is that in case if I propose a moderated caucus, I'll have the privilege to speak first or last in that moderated caucus. Okay, so it's not like I pick you randomly. I'll be asking delegates wishing to speak on this moderated caucus, please raise your virtual hands, and I'll be recognizing each one of you. Okay, that is about a moderated caucus. So clear with that? Any doubts, any questions? Okay, so the next, another very important thing I have to say is points. Okay, so basically I'll start with the most important ones. First thing is point of personal privilege. Okay, in point of personal privilege is that in case if a delegate speech is not audible to you, or if you feel any personal discomfort, maybe like you want to go have drink water or something, like your personal inconvenience, something, if you feel, you can raise point of personal privilege. Okay, even if a delegate's voice is not audible, you can raise point of personal privilege. Okay, and Okay, the most one of the most notable point, one of the most notable thing in this point of personal privilege is that you can only, this is the only point that can interrupt a speaker. Okay, so in case if I'm speaking and if my voice is not audible, or if in case if you want to go like go drink water or something, you can raise a point of personal privilege interrupting my speech. Okay, that is about point of personal privilege. It's like so simple, just raise your hands, or raise your hands, I'll be recognizing you and I'll be asking, okay delegate, what point? That is a point of personal, only for personal privilege. Okay, in case if I don't ask, like when the committee is going on randomly, even if I don't ask any points, you can raise point of personal privilege. This is only for point of personal privilege, that can't interrupt a speaker. I mean that can interrupt a speaker, sorry. Okay, so clear with what a point of personal privilege is? Any doubts? Any doubts? Okay, so the next point is point of information. Okay, I don't, it's actually not mentioned in the RP that is given here, but we'll add it also. We'll have point of information and point of clarification. We'll add this both. Okay, so what a point of clarification and information means. So for example, if I give a speech and in my speech there is a factual inaccuracy in what I spoke. Okay, so for example, if I take in a very simple topic, I put India and Pakistan. If I say, Pakistan and India are very close allies, so you all know that it's a blunder, it's a big factual inaccuracy what I spoke. So as soon as I finish my speech, as soon as the delegate finish my speech, okay, as soon as I finish my speech, the chairperson will be asking delegates, are there any points on the floor? Okay, so at that time you will have to raise point of information or point of clarification. So the difference between both is that in point of information you will just point out that, okay, this delegate has mentioned Pakistan and India are close allies, but actually it is not. That is a inaccuracy what this delegate has mentioned. And what point of clarification is that, so I said I'll just give it in the aspect of point of the statement what I said, India and Pakistan. So I said India and Pakistan are close allies. So in the point of clarification you'll be asking a question. Okay, you'll be asking a doubt. By the name itself, it's so clear that it's a point of clarification. So you can say, oh delegate, you mentioned that India and Pakistan are great allies, so can you explain that statement, or can you please justify that statement, or can you please say a can you please say a situation where they support each other or something like that. You actually ask a question on a particular point or something what the delegate has spoken. That is a point of clarification. It is same like L2 questions, but you raise it as in a way of points. Okay, and here also this we'll do it like we'll have only one question, we'll have no follow-ups because we don't have time. I mean, points, you can raise so many points, it's not an issue, but a delegate, when he raises a point of clarification, he'll be allowed to ask only one question. Okay, so clear about point of clarification and point of information. Any doubts? Any doubts? No. Okay, so the next important thing is point of parliamentary inquiry and point of order. Basically, point of order is that in case if we deviate from the agenda, I mean, yeah, if we deviate from the agenda, or in case if we deviate from the ROP especially, so you can raise a point of order stating that the committee is going away, deviating from the agenda, the committee is deviating from the ROP or something like that. That is point of order. Okay, so that is point of order, but being honest, or like if I say it statistically, we don't much use point of order in most of the committees, so we'll just give less importance to that. And the next thing is point of parliamentary inquiry. So in case if any delegates are having any questions to the chairperson, or if a delegate is having any doubts regarding the proceedings that is happening in the committee, the delegate can raise point of parliamentary inquiry. Okay, that is about points. And basically in points, how do you raise a point is that, as I said, point of personal privilege, you can raise it at any point in the committee, even during a delegate speech. Okay, the other points when you'll be allowed to raise only when the chair, only when I'm asking delegates, are there any points on the floor? Okay, well, only when I ask this, you'll be asked at each and every time when a delegate finishes his or her speech, I'll be asking this delegates, are there any points? At that time you can raise your points. Okay, that is about points. Any doubts on points? Clear? Yeah. Okay, and the next most interesting part is about challenges. And as I said, you'll be having some question to another delegate, and that some questions can be controversial also. You'll be having so many answers, like you need to have an argument to come to a conclusion for the question. Okay, so such questions can be made it as a challenge. Yes, delegate of Germany. Delegate, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Sorry, Chair, can you just explain point of information once more?
Okay, so basically what a point of information, see, another one more thing, like as I said, If you have any doubts or something, okay, you can raise your virtual hand. And okay, I didn't notice that. Clear. Okay, so basically point of information is that I set up if a delegate has given a speech. So for example, you consider me as a delegate, I'm representing a country XYZ. Okay, so I gave a speech, and after my speech, in the speech what I has given, there is a factual inaccuracy what I have said. So the in example I said was India and Pakistan are actually bitter enemies. That we know that already. That is a fact. But in my speech, I have mentioned that India and Pakistan are the great allies. Okay, so that is basically a factual inaccuracy, correct? Okay, so basically that's an inaccuracy. So you want to point out that this delegate, that is me, I have made a factual inaccuracy in my speech. So for that, you raise a point of information stating that I'll be asking delegates, are there any points, as soon as a delegate finishes his speech. So let's consider an imaginary delegate in the committee XYZ. He's representing the country XYZ. He has given a speech. Okay, and the speech he has mentioned that he has given a statement that India and Pakistan are a very great allies. Okay, and we know that and the committee knows that it's actually not true. So as soon as the delegate finishes his speech, I'll be asking delegates, are there any points? So at that time, you can raise your virtual hands and I'll be recognizing you. And at that time, when I recognize you, you'll have to specify what point is it. So if it's a point of information, as soon as I recognize Germany, so Germany will be saying it's a point of information. And I'll say, okay, go on. And then you'll be saying, what was the point of information? You'll be saying, the delegate of XYZ mentioned that India and Pakistan are great allies, but the fact is not so. The fact is India and Pakistan are bitter enemies. That was an inaccuracy told by the delegate of XYZ. Clear? That is about point of information. Clear? Any doubts? Any doubts? Any doubts? If so, please raise your virtual hands. No? In case if there is no doubt, please that that reaction thumbs up. Okay, that would be more convenient that I also know who else are clear with it. Okay, cool. Okay, the next thing, where did I stop? Yeah, challenges. So challenges, it's basically an argument. If you have a controversial question to another delegate, you can have it as an argument. That is actually challenges. So challenge also you'll have to raise it in the form of a motion. So when I'll be asking delegates, are there any points or motions on the floor? So you'll be raising the delegate of India or the delegate of XYZ would like to challenge the delegate of XYZ for a time period of 3 minutes on the topic. It's optional to mention the topic. In case you can mention the topic of the challenge, okay, what that challenge is related, or else you can just neglect that. Okay, that is about how you raise a challenge, and this challenge only put to vote will be directly brought forward to the committee. In case if I am challenging the delegate of XYZ, the delegate of XYZ can't deny the challenge. He or she has to accept the challenge. There is no chance to deny the challenge. Okay, that is about challenges, and the time frame of the challenges is actually, we'll have it for 2 minutes. Okay, in case if the challenge is going like more, what to say, more knowledgeable or like more related, we'll extend it for 3 minutes depending upon how the challenge is going. Okay, that is about challenges. So clear with challenges? Any doubts? No? Okay, perfect. Okay, so the next thing is unmoderated caucus. So unmoderated caucus is actually the opposite of a moderated caucus. So you remember what a moderated caucus is, right? You remember what a moderated caucus is? You can raise, you can thumbs up. Okay, cool. Okay, so that we'll leave out moderated. Come to unmoderated caucus. So unmoderated caucus is basically informal session where you will be lobbying or interacting with each other for the committee proceedings, like what you can do next. You'll be planning about how to move the committee. Basically, you will have unmoderated caucus for the purpose of preparing new moderated caucus and preparing the resolution, preparing the working paper. I mean, drafting the resolution, drafting the working paper, and these kind of steps you'll be having unmoderated caucus. And most important thing, unmoderated caucus is not for chilling; it's for actually preparation. Okay, you can have an informal talk within yourself. You can like discuss what are you gonna do, and these kind of things will happen in unmoderated caucus. So even for unmoderated caucus, you'll have to raise motions. So when I ask delegates, are there any motions on the floor? You'll have to raise. The delegate of XYZ would like to raise an unmoderated caucus for a time frame of here I'll give it as maximum of 5 minutes. Five for the working paper, I'll give it as 7 to 10 minutes, but for the other purpose, I'll give it as only 5 minutes. Okay, so for the period of 5 minutes, and again that will be put to vote, and definitely that vote will pass. It's because it's an unmoderated caucus. So in case if I feel like the voting is taking time, I'll just pass it by the discretion of the chair. So in unmoderated caucus, you'll be given that particular time frame, that is 5 minutes, where you can lobby, like where you can interact with each other and plan what you can do in the committee next, or what topics you can discuss and XYZ. Okay, that is about unmoderated caucus. Clear? Any doubts about unmoderated caucus? Any doubts? Clear? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we'll move on to the next thing. And the next, there are like few complex things like presidential statements, joint statements, these things. So I better think that we don't want to have these here. So even just I'll explain you what is that, but it is like to us there is no sense of doing these things. No, okay. So basically, joint statement is that when like two or more countries, like for example, India and USA, want to come together and make a make a policy, want to frame a policy together, so they can actually draft a written document named as joint statement with USA. I mean, minimum you need two countries. It can be India, USA, Australia, Japan, like so many countries, but minimum two countries, like two or more countries, when they come together to frame up a policy, they can actually draft it in a written for. I mean, in a typed format, mentioning it as a joint statement and what are the countries, and then send it to the chairperson. You can send it to me, and in case if I approve that, you will be getting chance to present it to the committee. Okay, to present in the committee, again you'll be raising a motion. So in case if that joint statement was done by the delegate of XYZ, so the XYZ will be raising a motion. The delegate of XYZ would like to introduce a joint statement to the committee, and there is like no particular voting for that will be passed by the discretion of chair, and directly we'll be introducing the what we call joint statement. So basically, joint statement, after we get into the joint statement session, you will be reading out, I mean, the countries who has been a member of the joint statement will be coming and reading out each clause. I mean, the points will be usually mentioning it as clauses. Okay, so that's the format that we use in we use in a MUNs or a conference. We use clauses. Okay, so basically each clauses you'll be going through and you'll be explaining what is that. So, for example, India and USA want to come together and make a policy stating that we'll be having defense deals together. We'll be training Indian soldiers also mutually and etc. So that is like you'll come to a committee and we'll be explaining, and follow this. You can, like, delegates can ask questions also. Okay, that is a joint statement. So any doubts about joint statements? So basically, it's not very important here, but still, any doubts? Okay, clear. It's like just for you to know. Okay, okay, that is a joint statement. Presidential address or the presidential statement is also similar. So, in a presidential statement, you come forward of the committee, you address the committee as a president of the country you are representing. So, in case if you are United States, you'll be representing yourself as Donald Trump, and you'll be addressing the committee, stating that the president of USA, Donald Trump, would like to make a change in his foreign policy by doing so and so. Okay, so after a presidential statement, it's there is delegates will be asking questions. That there will be compulsory questions, at least minimum of one question. Okay, but that is about a presidential statement. But here we don't usually much go with that. So that is about presidential statement. Clear? Any doubts? So you basically don't need any kind of voting for presidential statements. Like the delegate of India would like to go or make a presidential statement to the committee. That's all about a presidential statement. Okay, we have our vice chairperson here. Adit, are you there? Hello, hello.
Yes, BK, can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay, you just introduce yourself.
1 second, I'll just come back.
Okay, we'll get back to you. Okay, we'll get back to you. We'll get back to you. Okay, so we'll get back to him later. Okay, that is about a presidential statement, and then about working paper. Coming to the working paper, as I said, it's usually in a committee. The outcome of the committee will be a resolution, but here we are having it as a working paper. So basically, the difference between both these things, I can say it commonly are, basically in a working paper you don't have any kind of formats. So, for example, as I said, reforms in the United Nations. So in reforms in the United Nations, so just imagine there are like two solutions. Like India would require a permanent seat in the Security Council, and the veto power should be suspended for the. I mean, all the countries has to be given equality, and the veto power has to be suspended. These are the 2 points that you would like to add to a resolution. Okay, that is actually the solution for that agenda. But when you add it to a resolution, you'll have some prescribed format and prescribed phrases to use. Okay, in resolution. But in working paper, you can just write it in a simple English, in your simple sentences, like the veto power has to be suspended for all the countries, and equality of rights must be given to each and every nations in the world. And I mean, in a simple sentence, you are writing it in a working paper. The same thing you are actually what we say, you are actually rephrasing it more formally with few prescribed words, and you are doing it in a resolution. That's the difference between both, basically. I mean, this is the most common difference. prescribed format, not prescribed format, formal, informal. That's all. Okay, so basically in working paper here, the agenda here is increasing access to medical products. So basically here the solutions will be like, how can you increase the access of increasing, how can you increase the access of medical products to each and every country, each and every locality, and XYZ. Okay, this is basically the solutions, what our committee, or what this agenda would come, outcome of this agenda would be. So basically you can write it, in your own simple words. You'll have to form, for this agenda, there is no purpose of forming blocks. So basically blocks in the sense, uh, how do I explain? If I take India, Pakistan, so there are few countries who are supporting India, there are few countries who are supporting Pakistan. So both these two, there are two groups actually, for and against. So both these for and against can't come together and make a resolution, right? So that's why we have blocks. So we call the group of India and its supporters will be making a resolution, Pakistan and its supporters will be making another resolution. Okay, so these groups actually, they are called blocks. So in our committee there is no need of blocks, if I say, because it's actually a neutral topic and it's a general topic. It's actually for the welfare of the people and not for the political reasons. Okay, in a working papers, when you do, you'll actually discuss it in the committee. You'll put all of like every points in a simple English, and like, don't make it like so complex sentences. It can be simple English, but when you read that, even a small kid must know what that working paper is saying. It must be clear, directly conveyable. Okay, that is about a working paper. And about voting of working paper, in case if we have time, we'll vote with a working paper. Okay, so voting with a working paper is also very simple. So as soon as you finish a working paper, you'll like, any one of you, or like two of you would come, two would be presenting that working paper in the committee, and would be explaining what each and every point states. So after that, there, like, we don't want questions or anything, because we won't be getting time. So as soon as that gets over, we'll be, what to say, yeah, we'll be putting it to vote. Okay, so as soon as it gets over, we'll be putting that to vote. So here, yeah, delegate of USA, you have any question?
Yes, I wanted to know if we don't agree, of if some country specifically does not agree to a certain point on the working paper, since it's not a resolution that can be voted like for or against as two blocks, since there's no two blocks. What are we supposed to do if a particular country does not agree to a certain point on the working paper?
That's okay. That's like, what to say. Anyhow, we count the votes. So, for example, if there are like 14 people, delegates in the committee, and 3 delegates don't agree for a certain point. Okay, and if the delegate feel, okay, there's only one point is actually having an issue, so that we'll have something called amendments. Okay, so I'll explain you after this working paper. Okay, okay. So basically, working paper, then you'll be discussing you'll be like reading out in the committee, and you'll be explaining what each and every clauses mean, and then we'll put it to vote. We'll just have it. We'll have special majority for this. Okay, usually we have it a simple majority, but since we don't have a resolution here, we are treating working paper as a resolution. So special majority in the sense, like, if we have 14 delegates, so 2 by third of 14, 2 by third of 14. Okay, we'll do that math later, maybe like 10 or something. So I'll just calculate those things, and I'll be telling you during the time of voting time. Okay, so that is 2/3 majority, and if there is if the working paper gets 2/3 majority and the working paper gets passed. Okay, that is about working papers. Any questions? Any doubts? Delegate of USA, can you please lower your hands if you don't have any questions? Okay, cool. Okay, so the next thing is about amendments. So amendments, as the delegate of USA state asked a question that, okay, in case if there are few delegates who aren't agreeing for a particular clause, so what he or she can do is that raise amendments. So basically what an amendments is that there are actually three type of amendments. Basically we take it as a two. First is friendly, and one is non-friendly amendments. So friendly amendments is like, in case, okay, here working papers. Okay, so okay, we don't have like anything called friendly or non-friendly, unfriendly. Okay, we'll just consider for working paper amendments. What we will do, in case if I need to make an amendment in the working paper, I feel, okay, this particular clause is not, it's not, this particular clause doesn't make sense, or I want to make a change in this. What I can do, if there are 3 delegates along with me who want to make a change, like, I can discuss with them, or I can raise motion to discuss upon a particular clause and make an amendment. Okay, so if it was actually, we basically don't have amendments in working papers or anything. we have it in resolutions, but here we are considering our working paper as a resolution. That's why we are like making small tweaks here. Okay, so what we will do, in case if I'm having a if I am against a particular point, I can like, so this if you can just raise a question, you can do point of clarification, that would do. Okay, that is like so easily we'll go. Okay, after you explain a clause, after you explain a point, raise, if like you are explaining a clause stating that India and Pakistan, okay, let them, they can have peace talks, that is a point in your working paper. So there are like few delegates who are not agreeing upon that, and the delegates can raise point of clarification. As soon as I read that particular clause and explain, I'll be asking delegates, are there any points? At that time you can raise point of clarification, or okay, no, not information, point of clarification, and ask question. And at that time you can like suggest that okay, this clause can be changed. In case if the committee, in case if there is an amendment, if all that, I'll be again putting that amendment to vote. And in case if that amendment doesn't get simple majority, so that amendment won't be taking place, and the working paper stays as such. And in case that next thing is up to you, like you want to vote for or vote against, that is up to you. Okay, in case if you want to vote for, okay, you can vote for. If you want to vote against, it's entirely up to you. Clear? That is about working papers. Clear? Any doubts? No? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Any doubts? No? Okay, cool. So perfect. I think I covered, yeah, I almost covered the everything that is required. Next, yeah. Then about setting agenda, I actually missed this thing. So basically in setting agenda, I'll be asking delegates, are there any points or motions on the floor? At that time, you have to raise the delegate of USA or the delegate of India or some XYZ country would like to set an agenda increasing the access of medical equipments, the medical products. Clear? That is an agenda. And usually what we do, we actually put this agenda also to vote, like delegates against the motion. In case if any delegates are against the motion, we'll have one for and against. That is delegates who is not for, delegates like who is for and against the agenda. Either of the one should come and like justify why do you vote against and why do you vote for. Then again we'll put to vote. It's like a very long process. So what we will do, I'll just pass the agenda at the discretion of the chair, and just we'll fix that agenda and we'll move on to the speakers list. Clear? Speakers list is like open throughout the committee. So wait, first of all, just I'm asking like all of you are ready for the speakers list, or okay, delegates who are ready with their speeches for speakers list, please raise your virtual hands. Okay, so basically there are 6 speakers, so I think it's better to go with the 6 speakers itself. And the committee strength, okay, I'll just count it later. And delegates who hasn't renamed yourself, could you please rename yourself with the name of the country you represent? I mean, there are like so many names here, and I'm not sure, are they delegates or are they like observers? I'm not sure. In case if there are any delegates, kindly please rename yourself. Okay, cool. So speakers, this also usually we go in alphabetical order, but here I'm like going so randomly. Make sure we have 6 speakers. Cool. Okay. Okay, so that is then about, I'll tell you about the procedures that we are going to follow today. The first thing, we'll start with the setting agenda. We'll start with the speakers list. Okay, so we'll start sharply at 3:46 or 3:47. Okay, so we'll go with speakers list. As soon as the speakers list get over, I'll be giving you an unmoderated caucus for 5 minutes. So in this unmoderated caucus, what you will be doing, you'll have to discuss among yourself about what are the next moderated caucus topic. Can you speak in the committee? Okay, make sure at least you have minimum of 3 to 4 moderated caucus topics. Okay, make sure at least 3 to 4 moderated caucus topics you prepare, and that 5 minutes. Okay, you only have 5 minutes. At the 5 minutes, like, discuss, prepare 5 moderated caucus topics, and then as soon as the unmoderated caucus gets over, we'll start with moderated caucus. We'll finish moderated caucus by maybe like 5 or maximum of 5:15. Then I'll be giving you like 10 minutes for the prepare. I mean, this is not constant, it changes with according to how the committee goes, or according to the time. Okay, but this is the basic flow. The time may be plus or minus here and there. Okay, so next about working papers, I'll give you 7 to 10 minutes. Prepare the working paper, we'll just discuss, we'll put to vote, and we'll end the committee. We'll try to maximum end it before 5:45. Okay, so this is the itinerary of today. So now vice chair, he'll just give an introduction of himself. So Adit, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me, BK?
Yeah, go on.
1 second, I'll just turn on my video in a second.
Yeah.
So can you see me?
Yeah, you're visible.
Yeah. So hi everyone, myself I'm Adit. I'll be a vice chair for today. To tell about myself, I just have finished my schooling and just got into my college. And to tell about my MUN experience, I've traveled a lot of places and all. Mm, and I've chaired around 4 to 6 committees so far. Hoping to have a great session with all of you guys, and I wish you all the best. Great luck to do well, and to very interested to hear a lot from you and to discuss. Yeah, it will be fun, I guess. So all the best, guys.
Okay, thank you, Adit. And okay, and next important thing is like you all have to smile. We'll be like so interactive, and like don't keep your face so scary and what to say, so boring. Smile, make it like so interactive. Clear? Okay. So now we'll start with the committee. So we'll first setting an agenda. Okay. So delegates, are there any points or motions on the floor? Yes, delegate of USA.
The delegate of USA would like to set the agenda to increasing access of medical products.
Thank you, delegate. This motion is in order. So this motion passes. So the committee has been set with an agenda increasing access to the medical products. Okay. So one more thing. Make sure please you raise your virtual hands. That would be more convenient to note, because there are few people. There are like delegates, 1 or 2 delegates one delegate whose video is off. So make sure like you raise your virtual hands. That would be better. Okay, cool. Okay, so now we'll go. The committee is in a formal session, so the committee has been set with an agenda also. So now we'll move the speakers list. So speakers list, as I mentioned, you'll have a time frame of 1 minute. Time for vice chairperson will be putting it in the chat box like when you have 10 more seconds left, and then you have yields are optional. I mean, after your speech there will be yields, and you can also raise points. Okay, after a speech I'll be asking for points and I'll be asking for yields also. Clear? No doubts, right? Okay, we'll start with speakers list. So delegates wishing to speak on the speakers list, please raise your virtual hands. Yes, delegate of UK, United Kingdom. Delegate of United Kingdom. Delegate, like please don't waste time because already we have like short of time. Make it fast.
Thank you, Chair. Um, Member states, over 5 billion people worldwide lack access to essential medicine, says the United Nations report. United Kingdom delegates pledges its support to WHO work on increasing access to medical products. United Kingdom's 79% of total spent expenditure is dedicated to healthcare. It works collaboratively with the world's largest pharmaceutical companies to provide developing countries with adequate supply of medicines. Over 100 million people are driven into poverty through out-of-pocket health spending, as quoted by World Health Organization. Therefore, the United Kingdom stresses the need to give momentous emphasis on pricing of medication. The United Kingdom strongly recommends other member states to strengthen national regulatory system and urges the need to improve rational selection and use of medicines. The UK is confident these initiatives will improve the livelihood of vulnerable people.
Thank you, delegate. So delegate, would you like to yield your time?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, like yield to questions or yield to comments?
Yield to comments.
Okay, so delegates wishing to comment on the speech of Delegate of United Kingdom, please raise your virtual hands. When delegates wishing to comment is Delegate of Germany.
I mean, the delegate of Germany, the hand was raised for the GSL. I didn't lower the hand.
Okay, it's okay, delegate. So delegates, make sure you raise your hands according to the questions what I asked. Okay, so that there would be no confusion. Yes, delegates wishing to comment on the speech of Delegate of United Kingdom, please raise your virtual hands. Any delegates wishing to comment? Anybody? No? Okay, cool. Okay, so that yield has been suspended. So are there any points? Any points? Okay, there are no points also. I'll be waiting only for 3 to 5 seconds, and in case if nobody raises your hands, I'll move on to the next. Okay, cool. Okay, so next delegates wishing to speak on the speakers displays, raise your virtual hands. Yes, delegate of USA.
Thank you for recognizing me, Chair. Uh, Health is an established human right, and access to medicines fall under provision to health or right to health, and is therefore a key factor. The United States of America recognizes this and wishes to continue on its path toward the betterment and increase of medicines, especially during this pandemic. The United States has made efforts in the past by improving access to medical products, both within its country and globally. It has worked hard on increasing research and development and therefore provided scientific basis for health successes worldwide. The United States of America recognizes that while our country has the opportunity to support and advocate for a global plan to improve health, ultimately individual countries are responsible for putting in place social and economic policies that protect the health of their people. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, delegate. So, delegate, would you like to yield your time?
I would like to yield my time to comment.
Yes. So, delegates wishing to comment on the speech of delegate of USA, please raise your virtual hands. Delegates wishing to comment. Anyone? Anybody? Okay. So we'll move on to the. Okay. So, are there any points? Delegates, any points? Any point of information? Any point of clarification or XYZ something? Any points? Is delegate of UAE. Delegate of UAE. Can you unmute? You are on mute.
Yes.
Unmute
The
yourself.
delegate of UAE would like to raise a point of clarification to the delegate of USA.
Yes.
Can the delegate of USA mention how USA has helped nations globally to increase access to medical products other than through WHO programs?
Yes, delegate of USA, you can answer to that.
Yes, thank you. The delegate of USA has made sure to provide our research and donate substances. For example, we have, Merck and Company has donated ivermectin to treat river blindness, which was then distributed by African Program for onchocerciasis condition. So this is how America keeps increasing its research and sending out research and certain kinds of medicines or substances to help developing and underdeveloped countries.
Thank you, delegate. So in case if you want to like follow up with the same question, you can have a follow up in the chat box. As we have no time, we are just suspending the follow-ups verbally. Okay. So next, the delegates wishing to speak on this. I mean, the delegates wishing to speak on speakers list, please. Delegate of USA, please lower your hands. Delegate of Italy.
Thank you, Chair. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Go on.
So Italy is moving into the second wave of the coronavirus pandemic, and the lockdown is being imposed currently. So there's a load on our healthcare system, there's loss of lives and economy. So the delegate believes that there should be short-term as well as long-term plans because different countries are impacted by COVID at different times. That is, they hit their peak and they flatten their curve at different times. So they should strategically implement strategies which are timely measures. Otherwise, it will be of no use. So the short-term measures should be implemented with the aim of immediate care delivery. Like Italy is using telemedication online and domestic production of medical products through MNCs like in Italy. Ferrari participated in producing ventilators. So many MSMEs are supported to produce these essential medicines and gear now. And it's cheaper and it creates more employment. As a long-term goal, the delegate proposes the setting up of an international subcommittee under WHO to aim and discuss drug safety, transport compliance, relief camps in collaboration with UNICEF, provide consumer protection, inbuilt infrastructure, and point of care testing. And the further details the delegate wishes to discuss in the MODCA. The delegate would like to yield the floor to questions and comments.
Wait. Delegate, you'll have to say the yield when I ask. Are there any yields?
Sorry, Chair.
Okay, it's okay, fine. So delegates, are there would you like to yield your time?
Yes, to questions and comments, Chair.
Anyone? That's not a question.
Okay, questions.
Okay, so delegates wishing to question the delegate of Italy, please raise your virtual hands. Yes, delegate of USA.
Thank you, Chair. The delegate of USA would like to understand how Italy is planning to deal with the current and previous scandal that happened with unethical practices, especially in the pharmaceutical company. Even Aspen Pharma was fined 5.2 million euros. Would the delegate of Italy like to explain this?
With the prior permission of the executive board.
Yes, delegate, you can go ahead.
Yeah, the delegate first of all finds the comment very ironical coming from the delegate of USA who was involved in an opioid scandal in 2019, and the delegate of USA should take into consideration that there are internal. It's a matter of internal. It's a matter of an internal conflict, so it's resolved in the country itself. So delegate is not obliged to or discuss openly in the committee.
Thank you, delegate. And as I said, if there are like controversial question or questions that as follows, make sure you have it as a challenge or have follow-ups in the chat box itself. Okay, so we don't be entertaining any more questions. So delegates, are there any points? Are there any points on the floor? Yes, delegate of USA, can you please lower your hands? Yes. So delegates, are there any points? Any point of clarification, information, or anything? Nothing. Okay. We'll move on to the next speaker. So delegates wishing to speak on the speakers list, please raise your virtual hands. Is delegate of UAE. Delegate of UAE, please unmute yourself.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Go on.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Chair, Vice Chair, Secretary General, and fellow delegates, noting with deep concern that globally 2 billion people have no access to medicines, the UAE underscores the importance of increasing access to affordable, safe, effective, and quality medical products. The UAE strongly believes that this endeavor can be realized with an effective and credible WHO leading the global efforts in this direction. UAE National Agenda 2021 is in line with Sustainable Development Goal 3, good health and well-being. In light of the COVID-19 crisis, financial and technical support for data and statistics systems are needed to ensure preparation of mitigation and recovery strategies. The UAE urges national governments, including the WHO, to place data and measurement at the forefront. The UAE concludes by affirming to support international alliances and mutual funds to restore stability in countries affected most by the COVID-19 pandemic, in order to achieve international stability and recovery.
Thank you, delegate. So, delegate, would you like to yield your time?
The delegate would like to yield to questions.
Yes, delegate. So, delegates wishing to question the delegate of UAE, please raise your virtual hands. Delegate of United Kingdom.
Is there any action taken by UAE to increase access to essential medicine in this pandemic?
To date, UAE has is involved in foreign aid that has helped about 118 nations with essential and critical medical supplies, and the UAE called upon the international communication to step up cooperation and coordination, and pledge to work actively to ensure the continued flow of vital medical supplies and other essential goods and services across borders in a joint ministerial statement at the World Trade Organization. So to date, the UAE has responded to the COVID-19 crisis by providing over 1,510 metric tons of critical medical supplies to 118 countries in need, supporting more than 1 million medical professionals in the process.
Thank you, delegate. And delegate, one more thing, like when you give your answers or when you ask questions, make sure you stay in the time frame of 30 seconds. Okay. Question also 30 seconds. I mean, question 15 seconds, answer in 30 seconds. That will do. Please, like, don't make it so long. Yeah. Okay. So next, are there any points? Are there any points? Yes, Delegate of USA.
The delegate of USA would like to raise a point of clarification to the delegate of UAE.
Yes, Delegate.
Delegate, you had mentioned that we need to stress more on statistics and understanding it. And it would be extremely important that the committee also understands this. What initiatives is the UAE taking to strengthen its data and statistical systems?
Realizing that increased investments in national statistics systems and mobilization of additional international and domestic resources will be imperative to build back better from the crisis of the pandemic. UAE has initiated the launch of a range of initiatives undertaken to analyze data readiness, close necessary data gaps, and to define quadrennial targets that will guide policy making. Innovative solutions have also been implemented to facilitate data availability, including the UAE Sustainable Development Goals Data Hub, and which is an award-winning platform. This serves as a centralized platform to decision makers to educate and engage the society on sustainable development goals.
Thank you, Delegate. And one more thing, like make sure you stick with an agenda itself. Please don't deviate away from the agendas. Okay, good. And in case if the answer of the question is going like too long, I'll be showing a thumbs up. I mean the reaction thing, so that you can conclude your answer or your question. Okay, for the speech and everything, Vice Chair will be taking care. Only for the answers and the question, I'll be doing it. Clear? Okay. So next speakers wishing to speak on the speakers list, please raise your virtual hands. Yes, Delegate of Germany.
Thank you, Chair. With the prior permission of the EB, the delegate of Germany would like to emphasize with pride that Germany has one of the best healthcare systems in the world. It has a well-funded and a thorough system and takes its residents' healthcare access to healthcare services and products very seriously. We have more than 20,000 pharmaceuticals and 2,000 hospitals, and the person to bed ratio is very high comparative to the EU members. And in Germany, it is a legal obligation for every inhabitant to pay 7% of their monthly salary as health insurance, and majority take up the public health insurance, which covers their basic needs and access to health services, and also health services and essential medicines. And in review of the pandemic, the public basic health insurance also covers the medical expenses of the COVID. And due to the dense network of doctors and paramedicals and high bed to person ratio and high expenditure per capita, unmet needs or for access to healthcare services and products and out of pocket expenditure is very low in Germany. With that, the delegate would like to conclude.
Thank you, Delegate. So, Delegate, would you like to yield your time?
Yes, comments and questions.
No, you can yield to any one of either of the one, comments or questions. You can't yield to both. Okay. So delegates wishing to question the delegate of Germany, please raise your virtual hands. It's delegate of United Kingdom.
Did Germany take steps to help other developing countries during this pandemic to bring international stability?
Yes, thank you, delegate. So with along with the WHO, the Germany has signed antibiotic R&D partnership, global antibiotic R&D partnership, where it is. Wait, sorry, delegate, was it only regarding COVID or in general?
Delegate, wait. You can't just interact yourself. You'll have to raise a point of personal privilege, and then you'll have to ask the delegate of UK to repeat the question.
Delegate, point of personal privilege, the delegate repeat the question.
Yes, delegate of United Kingdom, please repeat your question.
Special emphasis on this pandemic.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, delegate. So the Germany has taken part in the strategic preparedness and response plan, which is a global health initiative by the WHO to help the less fortunate countries. receive medical services and medical devices, especially PPE and diagnostic services.
Thank you, delegate. So, delegates, are there any points on the floor? Yes, the delegate of USA.
Thank you, Chair. It's extremely important that all of us understand that during this time, a lot of countries have faced extensive shortages. So, delegate of Germany, there has been a drug supply shortage issue that has come up, and this has been spoken about by the Drug Commission and the German Association of Pharmacists. And I think all of the countries here would benefit if we understand how your country is dealing with the current shortage issue.
Delegate, the German medical. I'm sorry. The BV-Med, sorry. The BV-Med, which is the German Medical Technologies Association, has called for a medical drug regulation emergency plan. So, and there are two major objectives in that. One is to authorize. One is to make sure that there is certification of all the range of products that are required for, especially in this COVID. And the second thing is to create an inventory for all the products so that we do not suffer from bottleneck of supply of drugs. And the shortage was more acutely faced only during the initial outbreak because India and China were shut down, and therefore we couldn't get our basic generic formulations. But now that situation is not there.
Thank you, Delegate.
Thank you, delegate. So next we'll move to the next speaker. So we'll make it like so fast. We are running out of time. Yes. So delegates wishing to speak on the speakers list, please raise your virtual hands. Yes, delegate of India.
Thank you, Chair. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Go on.
Thank you, Chair. Despite having one of the world's largest populations, the nation of India takes pride in the fact that it has curbed and continues to curb the COVID pandemic situation through precaution, prevention, and now precision. India has one of the largest rates of testing in the world, and it continues to enforce lockdown restrictions on its population of 1 billion people. This has been immensely valuable in keeping the curve in check. India has been lauded by both the WHO and the International Monetary Fund for proactively controlling the pandemic. As the nations of the world are forced to acknowledge the existence of a post-COVID reality, India stands in solidarity by assuring mass production of the vaccine once it's ready. Currently, 2 indigenous vaccines are in various stages of clinical trials. The Serum Institute of India will partner with AstraZeneca, and it hopes to manufacture 100 million vials of the vaccine, which will also be exported to other countries in need. Despite temporary setbacks, India aims to keep working towards achieving the United Nations Sustainable Developmental Goal of universal healthcare. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. Delegate, would you like to give your time?
Yes, Chair. I would like to yield my time to comments.
Okay, so delegates wishing to comment on the speech of delegate of India, please raise your virtual hand. Delegates wishing to comment, please raise your virtual hand. Okay, so no comments, the yield is suspended. And our delegates, are there any points? Any points? Okay, no points. So delegates, yeah. So delegates wishing to speak on the speaker list, please raise your virtual hands. So delegates wishing to speak. Delegates, no, nobody. Okay. So as I said, speakers list will be open throughout the entire throughout the conference. So in case if anyone want to give a speakers the speech at any point in the committee, you are like welcome to, but you can't do it between the moderated caucus or any proceedings that is happening. Okay. So but it is open like to the committee till the end of the day. And 6 speakers, we have 6 speakers has given their speech. So we will end up as per now we'll finish up with the speakers list. And as I said, I'll be giving you like 5 minutes unmoderated caucus, whereas you'll have to discuss among yourself and prepare at least 3 to 4 moderated caucus topics. individually, I think this is the first time you're getting chance to speak with each other and prepare as a group. So each and every one of you will have kind of individually would have prepared some moderated caucus topics, so that right now you can discuss those things. Right now you can share your topics what you have prepared, and the entire committee can come out with 3 to 4 topics of moderated caucus. Clear? Any doubts? Any doubts? Any doubts? If so, please raise your hand. Any doubts? No? Okay, cool. So I need a delegate to raise a motion to get into one moderated caucus for the time period of 5 minutes. Okay, so delegates are there any points or motions on the floor? Yes, delegate of Germany.
Thank you, Chair. The delegate of Germany would like to raise a motion to move into unmoderated caucus for a time period of 5 minutes.
Yes, delegate, by the discretion of chair, it passes. The committee moves into unmoderated caucus. So delegates, please don't waste time. You only have sharply 5 minutes. At right now the time is 4:11. Okay, so we'll end up by 4:16 or 4:17. Okay, make it fast. Okay, start. Discuss with each other.
Okay, delegates, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes, the first suggestion for a moderated caucus from my side would be the importance in strengthening national regulatory authorities while it comes to improving the quality of products, because it's not just important to increase access, but to also improve the quality of the medical products and devices reaching the people.
I would like to propose, in my speech, I had spoken about starting a subcommittee under the WHO. Delegate would like to talk about the functioning modalities and the operations that would be that committee can do to control the pandemic as a short-time measure and as a long-time post-pandemic. So most of your points can come under that as a functioning. So you can bring about like anything about your laws, your trade laws, your point that you just stated, national strengthening, everything can come under that committee. So the idea is under WHO, I'll talk about the committee first in my speech about how we can create a subcommittee, and all of you can give points to that. Sounds good?
Sure, Delegate. I agree with that. I think we should all talk about how we're going to deal with the pandemic. I also believe that we should emphasize on research and development, as well as financial pricing of this medication, not just limiting to the COVID-19 pandemic, but also including it in our discussion.
Yeah, for sure.
And also I have...
Can you please repeat the moderated caucus that you said? Like, can you repeat once more?
I'm going to propose a moderated caucus I just proposed a committee formation. So this committee will basically be formed under the WHO. So it will have different wings of functioning. It will have a medical wing. It will have the discussion wing to see the global progress, everything. So that committee can have it. So all your points, your national policies have to be incorporated into this committee because it's a global cooperation, right? So that's the idea. So functioning and the operations of the committee is my idea for the moderated caucus. I'm going to pitch.
Delegate, how is this different from the already existing N number of committees within the WHO? Which there is a separate committee for essential medicines, and there are multitude of smaller groups. So how is this different?
Now see, essential medicines will focus only on essential medicines, right? Now we are undergoing a pandemic, and the post-pandemic economic recovery will be different. We'll be impacted in several ways because of the economy. Many countries will be at a loss. I don't see a delegate of China here, but yeah, there are many countries who will be at a loss, and that financially we have to strengthen everybody. And your allies, the EU, we also have these specific drug laws which we are bound by. So we have to, if some vaccine or some cure is found, how we patent it, how we distribute it, how we make it accessible to the public, not just one country. This is a pandemic. So if one country gets cured of the virus, it doesn't assure that everybody else is going to, right? So
Can we raise a motion to just discuss the pandemic and issues that each country is facing in increasing access to medical products? in respective to the pandemic. So at that point, I think we can raise all of these different issues like trade and financial perspectives and all of that. So instead of limiting it to just formation of a committee, I think if we raise a motion to just discuss the pandemic and the issues regarding our agenda, then I think that would be beneficial.
And we can also propose the subcommittee in the working paper. And we can focus in the caucus only about the pandemic and how each country is dealing with the pandemic and access to healthcare and products.
See, the point is, in our pandemic discussion, we've already spoken about how each country and their problems in the pandemic in our FPS, right? In our general speakers list, we've already given our stance on how we have placed. There's no point discussing it over and over again. We need to come up with solutions now. So I'd suggest we'd work to how this committee is supposed to function, what laws you want to be brought. If we discuss what laws you want under the committee, we can discuss how the committee is going to be put into effect, like how it's going to be globally, and whatever laws, everything, transport, everything will come under that. So if you want to talk about transport, talk about why you want transport to be incorporated under the committee and how you want it to be.
Understood, delegate, but I still, but we can incorporate this as COVID pandemic and its relation to increasing access. So it doesn't have to be our stance or what we're going through during the pandemic. It can be related to the agenda, which would include your point as well as several other points regarding the pandemic.
We're going to have 3 anyway, right? So pitch any 3. We'll vote and we'll speak about everything. That's it.
Yeah, I would like to agree in part with what the delegate of Italy just said. With respect to forming a new committee, I think we can address that. And that will also correlate with what the delegate of the USA has been saying.
Delegate, your time is up. Your time is up. Your time is up.
Okay.
So I guess you have like at least 3 moderated focus topic. Yeah, delegate of Egypt, can you please unmute your? I mean, can you please mute yourself? Delegate of Egypt. Yeah, okay. Delegate of Egypt, please mute yourself. Okay, so basically, okay, the unmoderated caucus will end this by here, and I hope you prepared with some moderated caucus topics. Make sure your moderated caucus topics are not too long. Okay, make it like concise. Okay, so now we'll get to the formal session. The committee moves into a formal session with the discretion of chair. So, delegates, are there any points or motions on the floor? I need motion for moderated caucus. And once again, I'll give a small recap about moderated caucus. When you propose a moderated caucus, you'll be like the delegate of XYZ would like to propose a moderated caucus on the topic XYZ for a time period of it's maximum 5 minutes. I mean 5 or 10 minutes. Maximum is 10 minutes. Okay, so here we have only 9 delegates actually. So the simple majority would be 4, 5. We'll take simple majority as 5 and special majority as 6. I'm right. Yeah. Okay. So, we need 5 votes for a moderated caucus to get passed. The next important thing, as soon as your speech is getting over, you don't have yields like how we had in a speakers list, whereas you will have like there will be points. Okay, so as soon as your speech is getting over, there will be questions raised through points, but I'll be recognizing only 1 point of clarification, and point of information I'll be recognizing more, but point of clarification I'll be recognizing only 1. Whereas if you have any more point of clarification, you can follow up in the chat box. Okay. Cool. So, delegates, are there any points or motions on the floor? Yes, delegate of Italy.
With the prior permission of the executive board, the delegate of Italy would like to propose a moderated caucus on the functioning and operations of a subcommittee under WHO with reference to the pandemic and post-pandemic for a time period of 10 minutes and an individual speaker time of 1 minute.
Delegate, we only have 9 delegates here, so time period of 10 minutes don't go well. So we'll have. Okay, so would you like to have it for 9 minutes, or like you would like to have it for 5 minutes? I mean, it's your choice. You can choose the time.
9 minutes, individual speaker time 1.
Okay, delegate. So delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your virtual hands. Delegates in favor. And also, delegate of Italy, can you please put your moderated caucus topic in the chat box also, so that will be convenient for all of us.
Yes, Chair. Yes, Chair.
Yeah.
1 minute.
Okay, so delegates in favor. Delegates. Okay, if you want a moderated caucus topic to get repeated, you can please raise point of personal privilege at least. At least respond something. Please don't be silent. Yes, Italy, Italy,
Chair,
Egypt.
I'll just put it in the box, just 1 minute.
Yeah, okay. And delegates, whoever have moderated caucus topics, please put it in the chat box now itself so that we'll go, it will be easy for all of us to refer. Okay, delegate, fast.
Sorry, 1 minute. Geo.
Yeah. Okay. So delegate, the moderated caucus topic is in the chat box. So now delegates wishing to vote for this moderated caucus, please raise your virtual hands. We need 5 votes for this moderated caucus to get passed. So delegates, please raise your virtual hands in case if you are in favor of this moderated caucus. Delegate of Italy, you can also vote. Okay, only you are voting.
I only raised my hand.
Okay, so nobody wants to discuss this topic. Okay, fine. So this motion fails. In case if we are short of this moderated, in case at the last, if you are short of topics or something, I'll be bringing this topic with a discretion to the committee. Okay. Cool. Okay. Next, delegates, are there any points
Yes,
or
Chair.
motions on the floor? Yes, delegate of USA.
Delegate of USA would like to discuss strengthening of national regulatory bodies during the pandemic as well as in general.
Thank you, delegate. So delegates in favor of this motion, but wait. Can you repeat your topic once more?
The delegate would like to raise a motion to discuss the moderator caucus, for a moderator caucus to discuss strengthening respective national regulatory bodies to regulate medicines during the pandemic and post-pandemic for a time period of 1 minute each speaker for a total time of 7 minutes.
Okay, thank you, delegates. So delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your virtual hands. Delegates in favor. We need 2 more votes. 1 more vote. Yes, this motion clearly passes. So the delegate of USA, you would like to speak first or last?
I would like to speak last.
Okay, delegate. So delegates wishing to speak on this moderated caucus, please raise your virtual hands. Okay, delegate of India.
Thank you, Chair. The delegate of India would like to start off by saying that the strengthening of drug regulatory mechanisms has many sub-points which encompass regulation of clinical trials and approval of new medicines, and this will enable the use of TRIPS flexibilities. And we need to have a periodic review to eliminate unsafe and obsolete medicines. This will ensure increased access of quality medicines and ensure that they actually reach the common man. Promotion of medicines amongst healthcare professionals and lay people is again very important. As the delegate of India, I would like to emphasize that a well-debated, evidence-based national vaccine policy will also clearly delineate the kinds of vaccines that we need. The CDSCO, which is the chief organization, will be considerably strengthened to harness the expertise and enable the decisions that need to be taken about the safety and efficacy of the vaccines and drugs. Periodic review of the medicines market will require good pharmacovigilance. So the existing mechanism will have to be considerably strengthened to make sure that we have a nationally connected a computerized system, and that will include having relevant data collection and vigilance. And price regulation obviously is very essential because most advanced free market economies have some form of price regulation or subsidy schemes. And Indian pharma formulations industry is characterized by wide-ranging prices for the same product and high profits. Apart from marketing unnecessary combinations and selling them. And finally, all drug-related matters should be under one ministry. They should not be divided between the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Thank you, delegates. So delegates, are there any points on the floor? Any points? Delegates who have points, please raise your virtual hands. Yes, delegate of Italy.
With the prior permission of the Executive Board, the delegate would like to raise a point of information.
Yes, delegate.
So delegate of India, how does the Indian, what kind of information does the delegate of India propose to share in the database that the delegate was speech?
Delegate, that's a point of clarification. It's not point of information.
Sorry,
Not a
point of
of
clarification.
It's delegate.
Yes, I would like to clarify to the delegate of Italy that this is an insinuation that private medical records will be shared. No, they will not. Only the necessary information which will be essential for computing and for building a stronger bandwidth and database will be uploaded.
Thank you, delegate. No follow-ups. If you want to follow up, please follow up with the chat box. Okay. Yeah. So next, are there any points? Are there any? I mean, any points except point of clarification? Yes, delegate of USA. Unmute.
Delegate of India, I would like to raise a point of information that you had not mentioned any regulation of e-pharmacies, as well as the fact that e-pharmacies is relatively young and is mostly in urban areas. It seems like a very important topic to talk about. I was just mentioning that it was not spoken about in your speech.
Can I reply to that, Chair?
No, you can't reply.
Okay.
You can reply only to point of clarification.
Sure.
Okay. And one more thing, you know what? Oh, okay, I forgot. But okay, fine. I'll come back to that later. So, delegates, are there any more points? Delegate of Italy, can you please lower your hand? Okay. So, yeah. So, delegates wishing to speak on this moderated caucus, please raise your virtual hands. Yes, delegate of Italy. Okay. Oh yeah, I remembered. Yeah. So basically, in point of information, you actually point out a factual inaccuracy that was spoken by the delegate. Like it's it shouldn't be like a comment. It shouldn't be like you would have included that or you would have included, but you are actually pointing out a mistake that was spoken by the delegate. Okay, that's actually a point of information. Okay, like don't confuse it with comments and information. Okay.
Thank you for clarifying, Chair. That's why I asked you if I could respond to that because thank you.
Okay, it's fine. Yeah, as the delegate of Italy, you have the time of 1 minute.
Point of personal privilege. Can the delegate speak next? The internet is unstable.
Okay, fine. Yes, so delegates wishing to speak on this moderated caucus, please raise your virtual hands. Delegates. Yes, delegate of United Kingdom.
The first question arises is that why we need strong regulatory system. According to WHO report, in recent months, regulators across many countries have recalled dozens of medicines to treat high blood pressure because they were found to contain potentially cancer-causing impurities. These medicines are commonly prescribed globally and came from different manufacturers. The impurities were due to changes in the manufacturing process. Despite global progress, serious problems with health product quality and safety persist, particularly in lower and middle income countries. Current regulatory capacity and enforcement are insufficient in most developing countries. WHO estimates that only 3 out of 10 regulatory authorities globally function according to acceptable standards. Therefore, it is essential to strengthen national regulatory system, improving the functioning of regulatory authorities, but also speeding up product registration timelines and improving crisis communication.
Thank you, delegate. So, delegates, are there any points? Delegates, are there any points on the floor? Any points of information, whatever? Any points? Yes, the delegate of Germany.
With the prior permission of the EB, the delegate of Germany would like to ask what is the steps in policy making that UK has taken to address the fact that there is a huge waiting time in access to healthcare, especially now in times of the COVID crisis.
That was a point of clarification, right?
Point of clarification.
As delegate of United Kingdom, you can reply.
The United Kingdom works collaboratively with the world's largest pharmaceutical companies and published a policy for increasing people's access to essential medicine in developing countries. And also it provides guidance for pharmaceutical countries on how they can increase access by working in partnership with other stakeholders. And also UK has medicine and healthcare products regulatory agency, which works especially on transparency of medical products to implement patient first culture, so that there will be better exchange of information between MHRA and public.
Thank you, Delegate. No more follow-ups. Okay, so delegates, are there any more points except point of clarification? Yes, Delegate of Italy.
With the prior permission of the Executive Board, the delegate of Italy would like to ask UK, after Brexit, what plans does delegate or what measures has United Kingdom taken to protect their drug code, because all the members are of the EU.
Delegate, we don't entertain any more point of clarification. Okay, we entertain only one point of clarification after a speech because we don't have much time. Okay, so if you want, you can make it as a point of information and give it as a statement, or else you can have it as a challenge later. So you wanted to have it as a point of information, or can I skip?
Skip, Chair.
Okay, so are there any more points except point of clarification? No. Okay, so we'll move on to the next speaker. Delegates wishing to speak on this moderated caucus, please raise your virtual hands. Delegates, delegate of Italy.
With the prior permission of the Executive Board, the delegate believes that the current COVID crisis times, the drug production levels are increasing and the overuse of drugs might happen. So the private pharmaceuticals are basically encouraged to produce the drugs, are naturally encouraged to produce the drugs, and they have to be monitored by national drug bodies. In this aspect, the national authorities must participate mainly in post-marketing surveillance, which is very important for the safety of consumers in the country. So you monitor the sampling and the testing of the drug, the pharmaceutical sector assessment, the national program for planning and coordination through a yearly workshop, data analysis, discrimination, and regulatory actions. And to make it more accessible model, similar to NORMCOL model, which is present in Africa, in the UNDP it came up, where the drug analysis method was worked on and a regional capacity and quality control testing, post-marketing surveillance, bioequivalence studies, and proficiency testing was employed. So the delegate would like to emphasize on this. And
thank you, delegate. So delegates, are there any points? Yes, the delegate of Germany.
With the prior permission of the EB, the delegate of Germany would like to ask Italy, because in Europe we are all entering the second wave of the pandemic COVID crisis right now. So what in policy making, what is Italy being different right now, so that it does not repeat the mistakes that took place in March and April, which led to large scale increase in death tolls in Italy?
With the prior permission of the Executive Board. So delegate, first of all, the loss of life was because of a pandemic. So we'd not like to call it a mistake. We have been trying to improve our strategies throughout. So firstly, Italy has imposed a nationwide lockdown once again up to 6 p.m. Every day with proper social distancing norms, sanitization measures. And Italy is also trying to implement inbuilt infrastructure to keep our economy afloat. We are trying to employ the MSMEs and those who have lost their businesses in mask making and healthcare products, sanitizer making and healthcare products governed by national bodies. So reforms have been taken by Italy. With that, I'd like to yield back to the chair.
Okay, you can't yield back. Okay, there is no yield back.
Sorry, chair.
Okay, that's yeah. So it's delegate. Thank you, delegate. So are there any more points? Any more points except point of clarification? No. Okay. So we'll move on to the next speaker. So Derek is wishing to speak on this moderated caucus. Wait, delegate of USA, you are last. I mean, you're the one who proposed the motion, right? So you're the last. So delegate of Germany.
Thank you, Chair. With the prior permission of the EB, the delegate of Germany would like to emphasize that Germany follows a decentralized system of healthcare where there are 400 plus municipal health departments across 400 plus counties, which run a localized healthcare services and products. And even in pertinence to the pandemic, the municipal government could act locally and tailor the pandemic policies according to the needs of the county and challenges, so that they were and this was one of the reasons why they were able to keep the death toll very low from the beginning. And the information flow between the scientists and the policymakers has been very effective in Germany so far, which has been a critical point in the containing the COVID. And for any, there are two main regulatory bodies, through which all medical essential medicines and medical devices have to be introduced in Germany. And these are the Paul Ehrlich Institute and the Federal Institute of Drugs and Medical Devices. The Paul Ehrlich Institute also stands as a quality assurance regulatory body uh, for the European Union's Emergency Medical Association, as well as for many other countries. And right now, both the regulatory bodies are accepting submission for
Delegate, conclude.
uh, the delegate would like to conclude by saying that multiple steps have been taken to ensure that we get access to new drugs to manage the COVID situation, and also to increase workforce in rural areas. Thank
you, delegate. So, delegates, are there any points? Any points, delegates? Are there any points? Yes, delegate of USA.
The delegate of USA would like to raise a point of clarification with the delegate of Germany.
Yes, delegate.
Delegate of Germany, since there's a large increase of unapproved drugs and counterfeits all across the globe, it would be essential if all of us learned how Germany is dealing with the regulation of such drugs.
Okay, so thank you, delegate. The Germany would like to emphasize that the Paul Ehrlich Institute has stood as an example for many other regulatory bodies across the world, and they have multiple accreditations. I don't want to tell everything right now, and they have a very strict quality management system, through which each drug introduced has to go through, and through that we ensure the quality, that it is not substandard or falsified.
Thank you, delegate. So, delegates, are there any points except point of clarification? Any more points except point of clarification? Any points? No? Okay. We'll move to the next speaker. So, delegates wishing to speak on this moderated caucus, please raise your virtual hands. Four speakers have spoken, so we need two more. I mean, excluding USA, we need two more. Delegates wishing to speak on this moderated caucus. Anyone? No? Yes. Delegate of Italy, you spoke, right? Delegate of Italy, okay.
Point of personal privilege. Can the delegate speak again on the agenda?
No. You can't speak again.
No speakers. Thank you.
Okay, so are there any more speakers? No? Okay, cool. So we'll make this moderated, we'll reduce the time frame of this moderated caucus to 5 minutes, from 7 minutes to 5 minutes. So we'll have the last speaker, the delegate of USA.
Thank you, Chair. USA would like to acknowledge that regulating all kinds of medicines and drugs is extremely important. The national regulatory body of USA is the Food and Drug Administration of the or the FDA, and it is responsible for protecting public health and safety, efficiency, security of human and veterinary drugs and food products. And this makes sure that the citizens of America and those purchasing a certain medication from America receive the best quality medication. The new COVID-19 vaccine will also be approved by the FDA and will be administered as per its regulations. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Delegate. So, delegates, are there any points on the floor? Yes, Delegate of UAE.
The delegate of UAE would like to raise a point of clarification to the delegate of USA. How are fraudulent schemes regulated in the United States of America? Please shed light.
With the permission of the executive board, may I reply to this?
Yes, Delegate, you do not ask permission for this, like you can directly reply. Okay, it's fine.
Thank you, Chair. The investigations of the FDA actually are wide, and it also delves into criminal conduct and street-level distribution, counterfeits, unapproved drugs, organized diversion of prescription drugs, and also schemes involving ineffective cure for AIDS, cancer, and Alzheimer's, and large-scale product substitution. I hope this answers your question, Delegate.
Yes, thank you, Delegate. So, yeah, no follow-ups. As I said, in case if you need a follow-up, you can just have a follow-up in the chat box. Yeah. So, next, delegates, are there any more points except point of clarification? Delegate of USA and UAE, can you please lower your hands? Yeah. So, delegates, are there any more points? Anyone? Any points? No. Okay, cool. So we have finished this moderated caucus. So okay, so next thing, it's an open choice, as per your choice. Okay, you want challenges or you want to go with moderated caucus? I mean, are there any challenges first?
Moderated caucus.
Okay.
Challenge, Italy can challenge USA on the misuse of drugs, on the when giving domestically disposal to all the public, the misuse of drugs, and unregulated by the national bodies.
Okay, that's up to you. Like if you want to challenge, you can challenge. It's like an open choice. So you want
Or if the committee wants to proceed, we'll proceed. It's nobody else wants to participate.
Okay, so okay, we'll have one more moderated caucus and then we'll have challenges. Okay. Okay, so next moderated caucus will be taken by our vice chair. So I'll be introducing the moderated caucus to the floor. So delegates, are there any points or motion on the floor for a moderated caucus? Delegates, are there any points? Yes, delegate of Italy.
With the prior permission of the executive board, the delegate of Italy would like to propose a moderated caucus on the topic of financial aspect of the distribution of drugs, with specific emphasis on research and development and distribution, for a time period of 9 minutes and individual speaker time of 1 minute.
Thank you, delegate. So you put this topic in the chat box also, so that people knows it easily. And like before you propose a moderated caucus topic, make sure you put it in the chat box and then you propose. So that would be, saving time. Okay, so you want the topic to be repeated, or can I just put it to vote? So delegates, you want the topic to be repeated? Okay, delegate of Italy, can you repeat the topic once more?
Financial aspect to deal with the distribution of drugs, with specific reference to R&D and distribution of drugs.
Yes, thank you, delegates. So delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your virtual hands. Okay, this motion clearly passes. And delegate of Italy, you would like to speak first or last?
The delegate will speak last.
Okay, so vice chair will be taking over this moderated caucus. Yes, Adit, go on.
So guys, can you hear me?
Yes, chair. Yes, chair.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So can we move on with the moderated caucus? Sorry to ask, is Italy speaking first or last?
Last.
Other delegates wishing to speak on the moderated caucus, please raise your virtual hands. USA, you have the floor.
Thank you, Vice Chair. The United States of America is recognizes that as the world is constantly changing, so are the existence and variability of several diseases. And therefore, we have increased research and development and encourages other countries to also do so to further increase access to medicine and increase public health. The US has spent and allocated over $553 billion, and this is not counting the $10.7 billion specific to COVID-19 vaccines. The United States of America plans on distributing the vaccine free of cost with specific plans in place.
Thank you, Delegate.
Thank you, sir.
Other delegates wishing to speak on the moderated caucus?
Wait. Before the delegates, are there any points? Any points? Yes, delegate of Germany.
Thank you, Chair. The delegate of Germany would like to ask why America allows the private pharmaceutical companies to fix their own prices for drugs, which are often quite impractical for the civilians to even purchase.
With the permission, can I reply?
Sure.
We need to. So as countries, we need to stop. As countries, we need to stop dividing the public and the private sector and partnerships of the pharmas. Instead, we need to understand that if there is a partnership as a model to facilitate access to medicines, then it would be easier and in providing access to new kinds of medicines. For example, the 20 largest pharmas increased efforts to provide access to essential medicines in developing countries by taking part in product development.
Can the delegate go back a few sentences and repeat? I mean, with the prior permission of the EB. Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
The delegate of America would like to state that partnerships as a model to facilitate access to medicines between pharma companies proves more beneficial as a recent research. 20 largest pharmas have increased their efforts to provide access to essential medicines in developing countries by taking part in product development partnerships. It is through this that Merck & Company donated ivermectin, as I had previously mentioned before.
Thank you, Delegate. Is that clear, Delegate of Germany?
Point of parliamentary procedure. I mean, is the delegate allowed for a follow-up?
No. Wait, it's a point. It's a point of parliamentary inquiry. Okay, it's point of parliamentary inquiry. And as I said, there is no follow-ups. In case if you have a controversial question with follow-ups, you can have it as a challenge, or else you can just have follow-ups in the chat box. Okay. Yeah. Go on.
Are there any other points on the floor? Any other points other than point of clarifications? Is there any other point? Yes, Delegate of India.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to ask the delegate of the United States as to what her view is regarding the president of the nation wanting to terminate the relationship with the WHO and all the accusations that he has put forth. What will be the implications of all this when it comes to proper research and development? Because there has been a large hue and cry made about it.
Delegate, as I said, we entertain only one point of clarification. So that point of clarification has been done. So you can have it as a point of information because we don't have time. Okay, that's why. In case if you have, if you have a point of clarification, go on with the chat box. Or else if you want to make it as a point of information, say it as a point of information and make it as a statement. So you would like to go on with point of information or skip?
I would like to make it a point of information.
Yes, Delegate, go on.
So I just need to frame whatever I said as a statement. Am I right, Chair?
Yes.
The President of the United States, Donald Trump, has made a large hue and cry regarding wanting to pull out of the WHO and saying that the entire country has been let down by its actions. So I would request the delegate of the United States to provide some clarity on this topic and how it will immediately affect the participation of the United States with respect to this pandemic?
Delegate, it was in the form of a question, but still it's fine. We don't be entertaining any more things. Yeah, go.
Can the delegate of USA reply?
No, you can't reply.
No, delegate, no.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, Adit, go.
Yes. Any other speakers wishing to speak on the moderated caucus? Yes, delegate of India. Delegate of, oh, sorry.
I had raised my hand for the question. Sorry.
Delegate of United Kingdom.
Research and development is essential to ensure innovation and access that must be needs-driven, evidence-based and unlinked from prices, ensure affordability, efficacy and equity and shared responsibility of all stakeholders including governments, biomedical industry, institutional funders of healthcare and civil society. Delegate of United Kingdom emphasizes that the development of innovative medicine is essential for making progress in preventing and treating disease. However, the high price tags put on new medicine do not always reflect the value added for patients. There is a growing consensus that existing policies needs to be rethought and new approaches need to be found to strike the delicate balance between stimulating true innovation, particularly towards addressing unmet needs and ensuring both financial sustainability for health system and accessibility for patients. Member States, United Kingdom wants to stress on point that the ultimate aim should be a price that assures new medicines are affordable to all patients and health system, allows for an acceptable profit margin and also as a stimulus for further innovation. Delegate of United Kingdom urges all member states to work on a model of fair pricing and to develop policies for transparency in information of true cost required for R&D for new product development, cost of manufacturing the product, and range of profit margins that results.
Thank you, delegate of UK. Is there any points on the floor? Delegates, are there any points on the floor? Yeah, the floor is welcome for point of clarification and informations. Yes, delegate of Egypt.
Delegate of Egypt would like to raise a point of information.
Yes, delegate.
Delegate of UK hasn't mentioned any current policies which are currently inactive regarding the research and development, like how much fund has been allocated for that.
Okay, delegate, noted. Thank you. Are there any other points on the floor? Delegate of Egypt, you can lower your hand. Are there any other points on the floor? I'll ask for the one last. Okay, see none, we'll move on with the next speaker. Other delegates wishing to speak? India.
Thank you, Chair. As the delegate of India, the nation of India has emerged as the pharmacy of the world, and I can say this with confidence. With regards to innovative medical devices, India is emerging as a tech hotspot. It has focused its attention on R&D of new drugs as well as innovative digital medical devices. Pharmas and OEMs need to collaborate with tech and software companies as well as startups for R&D, and these collaborations obviously need investments, ultimately reflecting in the price of the drug. In most countries, the prices of medical products remain unregulated, as a result of which they're inaccessible to the common man. But Indian companies engaged in drug development and manufacturing collaborate with national laboratories, academic institutions, and publicly funded R&D institutions. Foreign original equipment manufacturers are expanding to cities like Bangalore and NCR. The Indian government has established the Jan Aushadhi Yojana to ensure accessibility, acceptability, and affordability of quality medicines. And it has also ensured the National Health Policy implementation. The National Medical Device Policy of 2017 enables the Make in India scheme, which has provided a large impetus to Indian medical device manufacturers. The Startup India program promotes collaborative R&D in both drugs and pharmaceutical sectors, and it provides soft loans and grants to startups. The current GST regime will also aid medical products industry, and it has already been proven to have given an impetus to Indian manufacturers. This slew of measures is sure to make India's long-standing
Delegate, time is up, time is up, time is up, time is up.
providing health for all.
Thank you, Delegate of India. Points well noted. Are there any other points on the floor? Sorry, guys. Are there any other points on the floor? Yes, Delegate of UAE. Delegate of UAE.
My hand raise is not working.
Sorry. Delegate of USA.
Yes, the delegate of USA would like to understand how India plans on distributing the vaccine, considering that one specific state of India had said that they were going to freely distribute COVID-19 vaccines in their agenda. In Bihar, they had specified that they would be freely distributing vaccines.
Thank you.
Yes, Delegate of India. Yes, carry on.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I would like to clarify to the delegate of the United States of America that the Indian government as a whole has decided to amp up production. And like I had mentioned in my GSL, the delegate of India would like to clarify once again that the Serum Institute has partnered and has already assured a production of 100 million vials. So the production will be large scale and the distribution will in turn be possible because we have the infrastructure to ensure it. This will include exports to other countries in need as well.
Yes, Delegate. Thank you so much. Delegate of Germany, what is your point?
Point of clarification.
Yes, Delegate. Carry on.
The delegate of Germany would like to ask the delegate of India that India has always had higher tariff rates compared to many of the other developing Asian countries. So what are they going to do compared to that? For that, for the imported drugs tariff. Hello.
Can I take that, Chair?
No, actually, there is only one point of.
Yeah.
Delegate, there is only one point of clarification.
Yes.
Okay. If you have questions, you can just follow up on the chat box, please.
Sure. Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other points on the floor? UAE, is your hand raised for the point?
The UAE would like to raise a point of personal privilege.
Yes, Delegate. What's it?
The Vice Chair had recognized the delegate of UAE. However, I think there was the UAE thinks there was a miscommunication.
That's okay, Delegate. That's okay.
That's fine. That's fine, Delegate.
That's okay.
There was someone else. There was some other delegate who answered that the raise hand option wasn't working. So.
Yes, Delegate. That's not an issue. Thank you. Delegate of India, your hand is raised. Do you have a point? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, delegates. Do we have any other speakers for the moderated caucus? Do we have any other speakers for the moderated caucus? I can see, yes, delegate of Germany.
Thank you, Chair. With the prior permission of the EB, the delegate of Germany would like to reinforce that Germany has been a pioneer in terms of medical research, and Germany also attracts international research to invite them to Germany and do research there and offers them funding. And Germany has some extremely certified regulatory bodies which ensure that only quality medicines enter the market. And currently in the pandemic, the German government is following the guidance on management of clinical trials given by the Emergency Medical Association, because many clinical trials for many drugs have been put a strain on due to the pandemic. and Germany believes that affordable quality of medicine has to be given for the people. At the same time, there must be commercial viability for the manufacturers, and therefore Germany has does pricing only based on the clinical benefit, and there is a cap on the pricing which is held down by legislations, and most of the generic medicines are covered by the insurance, and the tariff rates on imported drugs is regulated by the tariff, which is a part of the EU, but temporarily it has been suspended due to the COVID, and the budget investment from by the German government in R&D
Time is up. Time is up. Time is up. See, just have a eye on the chat box also.
Yeah.
I'm spamming in the chat box about the time. Okay, so just have an eye there also. Okay, go ahead.
Would the delegate like to conclude?
Thank you, Delegate of Germany. Is there any other points on the floor? Is there any other points on the floor? One last time, is there any other points on the floor? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next. Yes, Delegate of Italy.
The delegate of Italy would like to raise a point of clarification. Based on the delegate speech, the delegate infers that a lot of measures have been taken to protect consumer rights, but the delegate is unsure of what measures Germany has taken to protect the pharmaceutical companies' rights. Can the delegate elucidate on the same?
Okay. So, thank you, delegate. The delegate of Germany would like to say that the pricing of any medical drug that is introduced into the German market is based on a mutual consensus, that the sickness funds from the German government is used to buy these drugs, and only if the seller is willing to accept the rate is that it is as I mentioned previously, it is based on a mutual consensus, and if they are not able to come to a agreement, there is a third arbitration panel which determines the rate of the drug, and if even then they are not able to come to a conclusion, then many of the consumers, very few amount of the consumers have withdrawn. But since 2011, more than 230 drugs have been introduced, assessed, and priced by the German government, and less than 50 among those 230 have been withdrawn. So it shows the consumer rights are quite satisfied.
Delegate, please.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
We are running short of time. I'm sorry to interrupt you because we are running short of time. Exactly, we have a lot of stuff and paperwork to finish. It's okay.
And delegate will be entertaining one more speaker, and the last will be entertaining the delegate of Italy. Okay. So time is almost 5, so we'll have to start with the working papers. Yeah. So delegates wishing to speak on this moderated caucus.
Delegate of UAE. Delegate, please unmute your mic.
Thank you, Chair. Recalling the resolution that was co-authored by the UAE and adopted in a session of a United Nations Human Rights Council, the United Arab Emirates reiterates the importance of promoting the right of everyone to enjoyment of highest attainable standard of physical and mental health through enhancing capacity building in public health. The UAE calls for the member states and the international community to increase in partnerships to improve health systems in developing and underdeveloped countries through investments in research and development, especially.
Thank you, delegate. Thank you. Is there any other points on the floor? Delegates, is there any other points on the floor? Yeah, sorry. Delegate of USA.
Thank you, Vice Chair. UAE delegate, please clarify on initiatives that UAE has taken to develop R&D facilities.
Yes, thank you, delegate. in the face of growing global challenges, the United Arab Emirates remains a strong proponent of a results-driven multilateralism that serves humanity. The UAE government at the UAE India Healthcare Conference 2020 agreed to provide incentives, including financial contributions, and make efforts to create a full ecosystem to support Indian healthcare manufacturing companies having strong R&D facilities. And the Emirati Apex National Investment Company signed a strategic commercial agreement with Israel's Terra Group to cooperate on research and development related to COVID-19, including a testing device. There is a program launched by the Sheikh, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum in 2016 of the Dubai 3D printing strategy, which aims to use technology to serve humanity and establishing Dubai as a leading 3D printing hub by 2030. And this strategy seeks to leverage the emerging technology
Delegate, conclude.
cut costs in the healthcare sector.
Thank you, delegate. So we won't be entertaining any more points. And at the last, we'll go on to the last speaker, Delegate Epically. You have the floor.
Thank you, Chair.
Point of personal privilege. The Delegate of India would like to go get some water.
Yeah. Yes, Delegate of Italy, you can start.
Yeah. Financial aspect, Esther, to talk about it, first is the collaboration with the IMF and the World Bank for emergency funds can serve as an immediate method. So boosting economy from within is the best idea for creating a local demand and self-generating the economy as a long-term process. So the profits from this can then later be used to extend it into research, testing, distribution. And you can decrease the cost of manufacture by providing grants, subsidies, and loans, duty and tax exemptions to the imported goods. And the competition law of the UNDP has helped in promoting access of knowledge in case of AIDS patients. Similar concepts can be extended to all other diseases, including the corona pandemic. All R&D productions and ideas must be encouraged and brought to notice to national medical agencies for funding. Partnership models between different multinational companies and the government and multinational companies and cooperation can help in reducing the cost and the risk. So pricing of drugs can be tighter, donations, patent holders might enter into a voluntarily third-party agreement license to distribute locally and into the rural areas. So with that, the delegate would like to conclude.
Thank you, delegate. One second. So we have come to the end of this moderated caucus.
Before the delegates, are there any points?
Yeah.
Any points? Yes, Delegate of USA. Ad, take care. I'll be back in a minute.
Sure. Delegate of USA, you may carry on. Sorry. Delegate, you are muted.
The delegate of USA would like to raise a point of privilege.
Yeah, sure, delegate.
The hand was raised accidentally and not for to raise a point of information or clarification.
That's okay, delegate. Not a problem.
Thank you, delegate.
Are there any other points on the floor? Are there any other points on the floor?
Yeah.
Yes, delegate of Germany.
It was by mistake. Sorry.
Okay, delegate. So we don't be entertaining anymore. Yes, Delegate of United Kingdom, you have a point.
Sorry.
You have a point or by mistake?
I mean, not a point for the Italy, but to raise moderated caucus topic.
Okay, wait. I'll ask about that. So delegates, the time is almost 5:10. So you want to go on with what is it? Yeah, working papers, or do you want to continue with one more moderated caucus and then to working papers?
Moderated.
Okay.
Working paper.
What is the time available? Like if we have.
We have till you can, if necessary, it can be extended till 6 also, but it's up to you. In case if anyone of you.
Point of personal privilege, Chair. I have another important meeting at 6, so.
Okay, so we have time till 5:45 then. Okay, we'll take till 5:45. And okay, so actually what I planned was like we'll finish the committee by 5:30, and like maybe 10 to 15 minutes we'll have like informal discussion, like like point of entertainment or something like that. So it's up to you. It's up to you like when we finish the committee. Okay, so we'll go on with moderated caucus or with working paper. Like make it fast.
Working paper.
Working paper, Chair.
Okay, so delegates in favor of working papers, you can raise your hands. We'll take majority here also.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we'll go on with working papers. So basically, the format of working papers, right? As I said, just the solutions what you are, like, what the committee is putting in the normal sentence. It's not like it has to be in a particular format or something. Just make the header as working paper, then the countries. Okay, countries, like what are the countries are taking? What are the countries contributing for the working paper, and then start writing the points with numbering. Yeah, put numbers and write the points. It would be better if you do it in the Google Sheets. Like, is it possible to do in Google Sheets? Sorry, Google Docs.
Yes, Chair. We have a.
Okay, so if the better idea, what I would like to say, someone can share your screen, and so that the committee can see the Google Docs and type. So that would be better. So somebody can share your screen. I'm not sure you can share your screen. No, I don't know that. Okay, just try.
When we share a Word document and then all the points, one person type, we'll put it on the chat box.
Okay, it's no, not in the chat box. You have to share it as a doc.
Yeah, we can directly edit in this sheet, but we are not able to do share screen.
No, I'm saying we'll share a Word document on the screen. And then
copy paste it to the working paper.
Copy paste it, from the chat box to the screen.
Okay, so basically you're gonna do it in the chat box. Okay, so you can put up your points in the chat box and then copy paste. Yeah, copy paste into a document. Okay, cool. So someone can share the screen also while editing, because if there are any suggestions in the editing, you can do it properly. In case if you don't have the share screen access, organizing committee members, if possible, can enable it. Okay, cool. Okay, somebody can share. Delegate, before that, we need a motion to get into a unmoderated caucus. So delegates, are there any points or motions on the floor?
Delegate of Germany is running.
Yeah, delegate of Germany.
Yeah, with the prior permission of the EB, the delegate of Germany would like to raise a motion to go into unmoderated caucus for a time period of
7 minutes. No, 15 minutes, 7 minutes. Yes, delegates, by the discretion of chair, this passes. Get into unmoderate. So time. Yeah, time is 5:12. We'll get back at 5:20. Okay, start.
So we'll do the committee thing.
Whose screen are we seeing?
US.
UK.
Yes.
US.
UK,
okay.
Yeah.
Once again, delegate, can you please zoom the screen a bit more?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Increasing access to medical products.
Yes, that is the agenda. Yes.
So
can we do the committee thing?
For everyone in Gmail.
So I'm currently sharing the thing that delegate of UK had shared with us yesterday.
Okay.
Yes.
So we just have to add our points to this.
Sure. Let's just fill up the countries first quickly. Or can we do that at the end?
Yeah, once we come up with specific points.
Okay, let's just use these 8 minutes as much as we can to discuss the points.
Yeah, let's just discuss the points. Okay, I would like to say that actually we have to make more measures, more regulations for fair pricing, because even in developed countries like US, there are there is no regulation there, and like not just insulin. I'm talking about many other drugs like pyrimethamine and epinephrine auto injection, where the country actually had to go through like some 5,000% increase overnight, and so that's why I would like to say regulation of fair pricing in all nations, developed and developing nations.
Yes,
does everyone agree with this?
Yes. The delegate of India agrees.
So can I add it as the first point?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can state it as capping the prices of drugs.
Can you check?
Capping and increasing regulation, right?
Yeah.
Increasing regulation is a very broad term, yes, which is capping and increasing regulation.
Anything else? Y'all can discuss while I'm typing.
Can you see the committee thing? I put it on the chat box. So that's what I wanted to propose as a separate mod cop.
Tell us now.
So yeah, if you can just put the points on the Word document, on that Google document, it's on the chat box.
Just
you want us to type it into the chat?
No, it's on the chat box, right? If you put it on the working paper, it's done, right?
Oh
so
yeah.
You can
and then
could you explain that to us?
Yeah, I'll explain it to you. So basically, the subcommittee will be under the WHO. I was thinking even the UNDP because it has to do with a lot of development programs, right?
Yes.
So it's under that. So we already have a panel of health experts. Apart from that, the national consultants from like FDA and other national medical agencies like Italy's agency and all that. So first of all, so to talk about drug safety and efficacy. Okay.
I think we're losing time. Delegate, can you please be a bit quicker?
Okay, it's the safety and efficacy, and then it'll report about the progress of different participating nations. So all the various countries' database can be, and then about the transport of drugs, the international law compliance, because everyone has different laws based on how you transport the drugs, because EU is bound by the drug code. Other countries are not bound by that. So within EU, there can be transport of drugs between the countries, but the others, it might not even be valid and legal in those countries to supply those drugs. So that. And then you can then to talk about relief camps in the rural areas in collaboration with for child health and maternal health. So that, and because of Corona, many of that malnutrition and all would have increased, right? So we can talk about all that.
Okay, delegate, can you please pitch one point that you think most definitely must be on the working paper, because it's becoming a speech at this point.
Yeah, it's too extensive. So maybe
let's all pitch one point. If we agree, we vote.
For transport, what she said, summarize, is that she said she wants to propose a subcommittee that ensures safety, travel guidelines, and what else?
Basically, all those points will be under the committee. We've covered all this while talking in committee, right?
Okay, so delegate, your point is setting up a committee to ensure all this, right?
Setting up a committee within that comes under the umbrella organization of UNDP and WHO. That's what you meant, right?
Okay, it makes sense to me.
Just copy paste what I put on the chat box here. Your work is over. Like all that you're typing, this capping, let the capping international regulation be there. We'll add that as a sub point to this. So those will be the aims of this.
Oh wow!
You get it?
And I have one more point. I have one more point. During the
also to reduce differential medicine prices.
Differential
medicine prices, like in different places and different medicine price, right? So we can bring it into equal.
That comes under regulations and capping, right?
Yeah.
So let's not keep repeating the points.
I have one more point. So can I talk? Sorry.
Yes, quickly. Just the point.
Actually, during the Ebola outbreak, many of the developed countries partnered together and they were able to give the vaccine immediately, in first hand. So therefore, I was going to propose better partnerships among the developed countries in the form of patent pools and intellectual properties, so that they can combine together, so that they are more well-funded systems, all the developed countries, so that they can help the less fortunate.
Intellectual property, right?
Under TRIPS again, yes.
Yes, so then can we use this point as use TRIPS as a tool to facilitate access to medicines, considering the fact that certain countries wanted to go against TRIPS and change and add a waiver to TRIPS? Can we follow the rules of TRIPS as a tool to facilitate access?
What are the countries that want to go against TRIPS?
How can you standardize TRIPS? Because there are
you can't standardize TRIPS.
It's against many of our foreign policies to standardize it.
Okay, so I think that point is waived. Can I explain what I just typed into the chat right now?
Yeah, that's a decentralization.
Okay, I would like to
push
explain what I just typed. It's about what has already been implemented in some of the states in India, as the delegate of the US pointed out to me. The states here, it's decentralized when it comes to distribution, so it makes sure that everybody gets the drugs. We're talking about increasing public access here, right? So obviously the first thing for us to do is to make sure that the center gets the drugs. But when it comes to distribution, especially when it's a large population like India, where each state is equivalent to some country populations, I think the decentralization will be
the
important.
decentralized approach is good. Yeah, we can add that.
I've added that.
Can you add a point?
Yes, thank you.
Can the
Add it,
UAE
add
add
it.
a point?
Yes, please. Can you add it in the chat box as well?
Yeah.
Delegate of India, along with your decentralization point, can you
Yes.
put the R&D point and the cooperation between the public and private sector to make it complete?
What do you mean?
I feel. So, you have a patent, right? Some people only they can produce a drug if they hold the patent.
Yes.
So if they agree with the third party, they can extend
Delegate,
the patent,
time is up,
and they can all.
time is up. Hello, time is up.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'll give you 2 more minutes. No, make it perfect. Okay, make it fast. 2 more minutes.
Okay, can you just remove all the bullet points first? Who's editing it? The delegate of the US?
Me.
Yeah. Just make it look even. And I think we're having too many points here, which are kind of getting split up. So let's just.
Can
if
I
you guys
the
feel
working
it's
paper now?
getting repetitive, yeah.
Can the UAE add a point?
Yeah, definitely.
Please go ahead.
Yes. So I think it is essential, as I mentioned in my opening speech, it is essential to keep data and statistics systems in the forefront if we want to develop at every stage.
Yeah, we can add this.
That would be to increase data, right? Increase data and
increase data.
Hey,
and statistics
add it to the fourth point. Add it to the fourth point.
I will give you the statement in the chat box in a minute. I have it ready.
Okay.
That
makes sense to me because I mentioned it in my speech where we need to have an accurate database. So yeah, it makes sense. Because in some countries it's available to the patients, which is pretty weird to say countries like America where it is not actually that open.
I would like to raise a
Can
point.
I amend the 8th point, as in it says that ensure that medical practitioners get access to reliable information. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
No. So I wanted to ask whether we can also add that make sure that substandard and falsified medicines don't become.
Yes.
I think that's implied.
I would like to. We should have evidence-based selection of essential medicines.
Can we add?
Delegate, time is up.
Where is the evidence-based
R&D point?
You have 10 points. Okay, 10 points is more than enough. Okay, 10 points is fine.
Can you add the R&D one?
Yeah, R&D and
UAE has sent something on the chat right now.
Delegate will move to the committee. Like at the background, somebody can add. At the same time,
Okay,
we'll keep
sure,
presenting also. Okay, let the screen be as presenting. Let the screen be like this. And I want. Okay, we'll get into a formal session. So delegates, are there any points or motions on the floor? In motion to get into a formal session and introduce the working paper.
Sorry, we've not added countries.
Okay, formatting. Somebody do it in the background while somebody is explaining. That's not an issue. Okay.
Delegate, you can just add it as we talk, I think.
Can I know who all are agreeing to this and who all want to be added to this?
India.
Okay, those things somebody put it in the chat box. Put it in the chat box. Okay. So delegates, I want a delegate to raise a motion to get into a formal session and introduce the working paper. So delegates, are there any points or motions on the floor?
Germany's hand is raised.
Yes, delegate of Italy.
The delegate of Italy would like to propose a motion to move into formal session and start discussing and debating the working paper.
Yes, delegate. It's an order by the discretion of the chair. This passes. So delegates, who is going to explain the working paper? I mean, two can do. One
Italy and India, I think.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Start. Like we explain the first point, and then don't read it out fully.
Sure.
Read the first one, and then just say what is it. But make sure what is the time. Time is 5:23. Make sure we finish this by 5:30. Okay.
7 minutes.
Sure, Chair.
Yeah,
Yes,
5 minutes. 5 minutes for explaining. The rest. Oh, okay, max. Okay, the rest 1 or 2 minutes for voting.
Sure. Just
Okay,
a point
sure.
of personal privilege. Can
Yes.
we split up the points as 5 and 5, Chair, so we can wrap it up on time?
Okay, then we'll do it
Just
like that
do
also.
alternate. Just do
Yes,
alternate. One by one.
Delegate of Italy, if you could take the first 5, I can go with the next 5. So we can just save time like that.
Yeah, okay.
Start.
So the first point is capping and increasing the regulation of medicines. The second is setting up of an international subcommittee under the WHO and UNDP, you have to add it, comprising of members of the FDA and other national medical agencies all over the world. So the committee should have experts on drug safety and efficacy, should review the global impact with regular reports of the status and progress of all participating nations, and increase the data and statistics regarding the access to medicines to assess the international law compliance in the transport of these drugs.
Sure.
Just
Thank you, Delegate.
a
Yes,
second.
Chair.
So, delegates, are there any questions? I mean, are there any points like you want any of the point to be clarified or something? Are there any delegates? Delegate of USA, UK, and India, your hand is raised. Like, in case if you don't have any questions, can you please lower your hands?
Yes. Just a second.
Okay. So no questions or no point of information.
I have to put my hand down, Chair.
Okay, then fine, leave it. In case if you have a question or if anybody is having question or something, just unmute yourself. No? Okay, then we'll move. Okay, the next 5 clauses. Delegate of India.
Yes, thank you, Chair. The 6th point is to handle drugs with caution so as to not cause increased antimicrobial resistance. This is of increasing importance in today's world, where exploited use of antimicrobials is causing infections that are harder to treat. And moving on to the next point, we have relief camps which are being set up, and this is one of the main points when it comes to increasing accessibility of medical products, which includes both devices as well as drugs to rural areas, especially in developing countries. This is an issue in countries like India, where the population in the rural areas is significant and it's not proportional to the availability of medically trained professionals. This can be done in cooperation with the UNICEF to ensure that maternal health, geriatric and adolescent health programs are also incorporated. And we already have several NGOs working on this, so they can aid its implementation as well. Next, we have the importance of ensuring that medical practitioners have ready access to reliable information. This again will make sure that there is no spreading of false information and unnecessary panicking of the general public, as happened in this pandemic also, where there was just so much misinformation floating around that people had issues deciding what is right and what is wrong. Next, to stimulate and promote competition and intellectual property, consumer protection, all these factors again will come under laws which will ensure that there is increased accessibility as well as affordability of medicines. And finally, we have a model that was proposed by the Delegate of India, which is a centralized public procurement of the drugs and a decentralized distribution. This has already been successfully implemented in 2 states of the nation, which are Rajasthan and Tamil Nadu. They have successfully implemented this, and the Delegate of India believes that this can be done in other countries as well, as was supported by the Delegate of Germany, because splitting up the populations in other countries would probably be equivalent to the populations of individual states in India. So this is about the working paper that has been decided upon by all the member nations.
Okay, thank you, delegate. So, delegates, are there any points? Any point of clarification? Is delegate of Germany, your hand is raised?
Point of parliamentary inquiry. Can the delegate suggest points?
Addition.
And you can't suggest anymore because the drafting of the working paper has been done and the discussion also has been done.
Point of parliamentary inquiry. Chair, 2 points have to be added to it. I think USA is working on it.
Okay,
Chair,
I think it's better not to add because the discussion has got over.
Yeah.
This is fine. This 10 points is fine because this almost covers everything. Okay,
So we are wrapping up with these 10 points, right?
Yes.
Or are the
Yeah,
ones in the
10
chat
points.
box?
That's all. The extra thing. I mean, don't add any more points. Just make the editing stuff, the countries, and then that grammatical stuff. Just make those editing, but make sure don't change any clauses or something. Okay. Okay. So it's better if you actually you submitted your foreign policy statements, right?
Yes.
You actually mailed it or like you WhatsApped it?
We mailed
We
it.
mailed it, Chair.
Okay, mail this also to the same email ID. Okay.
Okay,
Good.
Chair. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, mail it before the end of the day. Okay,
Yes.
so done. Okay, so can we move into the voting of the working paper in case if there are no questions or clarifications?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, so I need a delegate. Okay, there is nothing to this. Yeah, so delegates in favor of this working paper. As I said, this working paper needs 6 votes. Yeah, that is 2/3 majority. Okay, so delegates, are there any point? I mean, sorry. Yeah, delegates in favor of this working paper, please raise your virtual hands.
I
Delegate.
don't know where it is, Chair, on the screen.
Oh, God.
I'm having issues finding the.
Okay,
Can we
so
just send a thumbs up instead?
it's hard to count. Wait. I can't have gallery view when this thing.
Because the screen is still being shared.
Yeah,
I would
that's
like to suggest that if it is completed, can the screen sharing be stopped? Because
Yeah,
anyway,
okay.
the drafting of the working paper is complete.
Okay, you can start screen sharing and you can start voting. Okay.
Thank you,
So
Chair.
okay. So you're voting or thumbs up? Okay,
Raise hand.
Now the
Voting.
delegates can raise hands, Chair.
Okay, delegates in favor of this working papers, please raise your virtual hands. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we exactly have 6 votes. Surprising. Yes, delegate, this working paper passes. So finally, we finished the committee without any issues. Okay, so we finished it exactly at 5:30. The most surprising part.
Very prompt delegates.
Yeah, and make sure you what do you say? Yeah, email that.
Sure.
Mail that thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Then
The vote is counted, right? Can we raise? Lower our
yeah,
hands?
you can
Sure.
lower your hands. You can lower
Thank
it. Okay, so basically we have like 15 minutes. So 15 minutes, I just start off taking it as an informal session or something. So first, just for 3 to 5 minutes, we'll have a like small feedback session. Okay, so basically, how was the committee, and like, yeah, just a general thing.
Well, Chair, this was my first MUN, my first time attending an MUN. I wanted to attend it last year, but the dates clashed with another event. So I think it was very informative, not just in terms of the research that I was able to do for my country, but also very interesting to see how everybody was interacting and raising the points. So I did learn a lot, and I think it's been a good first MUN. And thanks to you and the Vice Chair for moderating the session so well.
Thank you, delegate. So okay, any more feedbacks? No, both positives and negatives, whatever it may be, it's fine. Yes.
I would just like to say that this MUN was extremely helpful in terms of understanding different countries and what they're doing because it was so relevant to the pandemic. It was so helpful to see what each country is doing regarding the pandemic. And also, I would just hope that next time it isn't through a Zoom meeting and that we actually get to meet each other and can have this for more than 1 day or more than 2 hours. So yeah, I think that's about it.
Delegate. So okay, so this is a question that I asked all the committees where I go. What is your personal opinion on this agenda? I mean, throw away your portfolios, throw away your countries and everything. What is your personal opinion on this agenda? Hello, personal perspective. Yeah.
Personally, I feel that access to healthcare is extremely important. And I've seen that especially the country that I chose has been so focused on protecting its patents and protecting its trade relation and whatever that it limits global access to proper healthcare. And it's a personal opinion of mine that if every country is looking forward to increase access globally and within their nation, it cannot be an I first situation and has to be thinking about other nations as well as its own simultaneously.
Okay, delegate. So what about others? Like your personal?
Mine is personally, this is more relevant in developing countries, and most of the countries here are developed countries, is what I noticed first. Like there's Germany, there is Italy, there is most of the European countries only, and it's more relevant if we had like Africa and all. There's more to talk about, and
I agree.
and more importantly, we know for a fact that this requires healthcare development. R&D requires so much money to be pumped in, And when you pump in so much money, you want to protect your rights and all the research that you've done, because at the end of the day, everyone's looking for credit. So when it comes to sharing of patents, unless the person is like extremely hospitable and very caring for the entire world, he's not going to give up his rights easily. So access to healthcare has to be done in the country. So everyone has to become self-sufficient. That model has to be implemented everywhere. Otherwise, this can't be possible. And in countries like Africa, the only developing countries and the underdeveloped countries, the only possibility is relief camps and UNICEF and all that. Those initiatives only work, and NGOs. Otherwise, I don't think there is any possibility of this going any forward.
Thank you again. So, any more of you would like to share your personal opinion? Any more?
United Arab Emirates.
I
Yeah.
agree,
Go on.
with what delegate of Italy actually said, because this is a very broad topic, and we can even start arguing about the health services, which we can also take as in terms as that is also a product. So it is more. There is scope for better debate if all of the delegations are actually developing countries and third world countries, and for developed nations, yeah, there isn't much scope. So, I mean, it would have been more interesting if it was all of the delegations were more like developing a third world.
Yes, that is one aspect. And another thing that I noticed, which I think I can say I know, was what the delegate of the United States pointed out rightly, is that it would have been better if we had had more time to actually express our points. And like the chair had to keep, making sure that we stick to the time. And even right now, I mean, I do take it upon myself. I have another meeting scheduled at 6. But if we had done this in person, say in Balaji's campus over a couple of days, or we could have done more research and discussed it more extensively. But this was fun.
I have attended a full-fledged 3-day committee session with crisis and resolution.
Exactly.
And so after seeing that, this is very, very short. It's just exactly for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. So, delegate of UAE, you are about to say something.
Yeah, not as the delegate of UAE, I would like to state my personal opinions. As somebody already pointed out, that even I am, this is my first MUN experience. And I commend the committee for choosing such a topic, because I believe that it is unconscionable that in today's day and age there are people who are not able to access medicines. Like there are billions of people not able to access medicines that they need, because of which people's lives suffer, their families suffer, and ultimately the government suffer. So I think that instead of focusing more on private interests and protecting patent rights and all that, the government should actually focus on increasing accessibility of medicines, so that their population citizens are healthy, and instead they can cooperate towards an increase in GDP and economy of the country.
Okay, thank you, delegate. Okay, and okay, as I asked about the feedbacks, there are organizing committee members also here, Director General, Secretary General. It would be better if any of you also share a feedback of the committee. I mean, it's like even you are allowed to. Anybody is willing to.
Hello, hi.
Hi. Yeah.
Okay, so the session was great. Like everyone mentioned, even we wanted it to be a live event, but unfortunately, the COVID crisis has made it this way. So we have to cope up with that. And about being it 3 days. So MUN is not like the event, okay? So MUN is a part of a cultural and academic fest held in our college. And along with that, we thought MUN could be added as an educational event. So in future, if we get a chance to solely host a MUN, it will definitely be there for 3 days. And I assure you to have more committees, more ideas, better agendas, and wider aspects. Okay. And what else? Did I miss on something?
I mean, how was the committee? Feedback about the committee and all?
Yeah, sure. That was great again. Thank you so much, Mr. Abhilash and Mr. Atish, that you managed to finish the committee in 2 hours, which is kind of difficult. Things going for 1 day, you managed to finish it in 2.5 hours. That's really great. Thank you so much for doing that. and it was great in it. It was really a very good session. I managed to pull through the entire session with the complete interest, and I think that much I should conclude there. Archana, do you have something to say?
Okay, so any more feedback or something? Or else,
Can we move on with the prizes?
So thank you so much to the executive board for really making it happen, and thank you Abhilash and thank you Adit. Finally you made it, and thank you to all the delegates who have come, and I hope it was really a good session for you, and yeah, that's it.
Hope you guys had an insightful experience, all the delegates.
Yes.
I would just like to make a point. I've shared the working paper on the email ID as well as on the MUN participants group.
Okay, great. We'll be forwarding that to the chairs.
Thank you.
Okay, so can I have 5 minutes for a small informal stuff?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I mean, just in all the committees I used to do, in case if you want to play any kind of game or something, I mean, not video games, just, here. I'm literally zero at creativity, so it's up to you. If you have any suggestions, you're welcome. I mean, you have 5 minutes, only 5 minutes.
I would love to chair, but I need to leave in 5 minutes. So.
Okay, then, so we'll suspend the game session and can we proceed to the closing?
I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. But before that, can we just finalize the best delegates and the special mentions?
Okay. Oh, winners. Yeah. So I have to give my feedback also already. Yeah. So basically, committee was, it was really fun, and there were 2 or 3 people who didn't speak, but I'm sure that they would have gained few knowledge. I mean, they would have gained knowledge definitely. And basically, and MUNs are, not exactly for prizes, but it's exactly for gaining knowledge. The real winner is a person who gains more knowledge. And committee, as I said before, it was really good. It was interactive also. And at the initial stage, this is my first time I'm chairing a college committee. And initially, it was like, okay, college committee, nobody will respect me, and these kind of thoughts. And all were so sweet, all were awesome, great. Okay, so to taking further time, and we'll move on to the prizes. So prize, yeah, Adit, you can start with the verbal mention.
So, coming to the verbal mention, there is no particular order in that, and the verbal mention goes to Germany and USA.
Congratulations, delegates. And next, we'll move on to the special mention. Special mention goes to the delegate of any cases.
Italy.
Yeah, delegate of Italy. Congratulations, delegate. And finally, the best delegate. I think it's easy to guess. So delegates, any guesses here also?
Italy.
Oh God, how much times Italy? It's best delegate.
India.
India.
Yeah, delegate of India.
Thank you, Chair. I really appreciate it. Like I said, it was my first one. So thank you to the delegates who I've been learning through the course of how you guys have been talking as to how I can improve. So thank you very much for that.
Delegate. So yeah, any more? I mean, that's all about the winners.
Okay, so if the vice chair, do you have something to say? Your feedback?
Yeah, sure. First of all, I would like to thank the organizing committee, the Secretary General, the Director General for giving me this opportunity, and my chairperson Abhilash for helping me with the agenda and to moderate the session. To be very honest, all of the delegates here did really well. I was really impressed the way they interacted, and the first and foremost thing what I thought when I came into the session was I was like, actually I just finished my schooling. I thought there will be like and I'm going to face some of my seniors or college students, but always so friendly and so lovable, and thank you for that. Thank you for all the interactive things that you said and the way you responded for whatever we said. And all of you guys did really well, and it was really difficult for us to decide to win. And there is no any profit on winning and prize or losing anything. It's all the knowledge you gain it. That's what I learned, and that's what from my experience, that's what I learned so far. So keep on learning, keep on exploring, keep on learning new things. That's all. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. So is there anything else to mention, or we can go with the formal closing?
Yeah, we'll go with the closing. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you all for joining us today. Hope you had an insightful experience, and thank you, Mr. Abhilash and Mr. Atit again.